We're a minute early today.
Means we're on time. If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late.
We're usually late.
Like, dude.
Real late.
Yep. Share. Tag done.
Are you watching it and liking it? My mom texted me earlier. And she's she made I forget what she's doing, but she's bringing, it might be like a raffle or something weird, I don't know. But she made a fishing basket. So it's just a 5-gallon bucket full of fishing stuff and a rod and a tackle box and stuff. Yeah. There's a net in there too. What else is in there? She put sunglasses. All sorts of stuff. Mom. First again, woo. Yeet.
Oh, hey, Andrew. How you doing, friend?
Hi.
Wrong Andrew. Oh, I'm just gonna put this provocatively in front of me. Oh, why'd you gotta loosen up like that? Don't do that. Come on, relax. It's fine. Everything's fine. We're good. Brian, you still up here in New Hampshire, buddy?
No, he didn't stop by my work.
Rude. Hey, David. Glad you could join us. Sorry, loud noises. I had to get sustenance for Andrew for later. Because did you stop for food?
Did I?
Yeah.
Actually, I got home and Jess made me meatloaf.
Ooh.
She's like, here, you want some? I'm like, yeah.
Is it edible? Yes.
I ate it in like 5 seconds.
Amazing. Yeah, tomorrow's fishing. Nice, buddy. I will also be out tomorrow afternoon, but fishing with my high school students. It's the first tryout of this season. What am I drinking? That is an excellent question. Hang on. Definitive Brewing Company, Behind the Light, double dry hop IPA. And it is pretty damn good as far as like shelf availability goes. Like, you don't have to go anywhere special to get this. You can find it pretty much anywhere. They're out of Maine. It is amazing.
It's
highly
good.
recommend. And now it's going in my amazing swim bait scrutiny koozie, because that's how I rock. Support local. No, catch you guys in 2 weeks. That was my daughter. We fished one day. We hit the largemouth pretty good. Nice. All right, man. At least you guys got out for one day.
Yeah, right. I haven't
What?
I haven't gone out on my boat in a while.
You're gonna have to do that pretty soon here.
I was gonna do that tomorrow, I think.
We're gonna fish in the rain Sunday.
Okay.
If you're interested, that is. I mean, I'm going.
I'll
go.
Where are we going?
I don't know. Probably local. We'll smash some largemouth in the friggin' the
I know where.
hurricane front. Ooh, yes. Yes. You don't even have to say anything. I already know. We'll be there. We will be there.
Bridge?
That's not what I was thinking of. I thought you were thinking way out there. Chris's spot. we got options. Bridge spot could be dope though. Either one, I don't care. Either way, it's gonna be good. All right, David. Hey, buddy. Thank you for joining, as well as you, Dan. Thank you very much. You know the drill, boys and girls. We wait a few minutes, about 5 minutes in, let more and more people get in here so we can get the show going after that. Kevin, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, we got a lot to talk about tonight, and at the same time, a whole lot of nothing. But for those that are here, if you could do me a favor, please, and just drop a quick like on the stream, always greatly appreciated, helps a lot. And we're going to talk a lot about smallmouth, but at the same, well, I'm not sure how much we're going to talk about, because we covered a lot last week, but I want to reiterate some points and expand on others. But more importantly, I want to start putting people on their toes to start planning for shopping for the fall, because now is the time. I went and looked, and I bought a lot.
Yeah, I got here, and he's like, I may have just spent a bunch of money. I'm like, how much? And he's like, my bad.
It's all good.
Now she knows.
Yeah.
Wasn't that much.
It was $180. And 25 of that was just for line. All the rest was just cold water baits, specifically for
You
smallmouth.
hear her stomping?
You what? Hey, Nick. Glad you could join us, buddy. Greatly appreciate it. Yeah, we'll go another minute and then we'll start rolling into it because I don't want to delay too long before we get in here. I hope everybody's been having a pretty good late summer here as far as fishing goes. It's been tough, especially here in New Hampshire with everything being, really up and down weather-wise. We finally had a good streak of hot weather.
Yeah.
I went and did something I shouldn't have, but I did it because I want to try and get better, which was tackle smallmouth in bluebird skies, hot weather, no wind. Generally, you just don't do that. But I need practice in it. I want to practice in it. So it's all right. Aside from that, it's been pretty good. What do we got here? And we know of a bass club in New Hampshire in need of non-boaters. David, not that I know of off the top of my head, buddy. Sorry.
You probably just go on one of the Facebook pages and ask, and I'm sure somebody will pick you up.
It's hard because almost every single club that I know of is team format now.
If somebody's sick, somebody's
Right.
out for the weekend, not going to make it. I'm sure there's somebody out there.
I would look into, hard to say. Start poking around in all the Facebook groups. There's usually at least somebody from every single club that if they're not actively responding, like they're active inside those Facebook groups. So if there's a need, someone's going to see it and you should be able to make something work. Dan fished at Lower Suncook Lake this week. How was it? I'm curious. And Kevin just picked up spy baits for Smallies. Dude, I have a weird relationship with spy baits, but we're going to cover that.
I want to do what we did 2 weeks ago for smallmouth with a spy bait.
Ooh.
Deep
So
instead of shallow.
Yeah. We just tried that. Me and Dennis.
Did you?
Nothing.
Nothing.
And he was really rocking it. He's like all out. He's like straight up 6-pound test on it. But they were being weird. It was, like I said, it was absolute dog crap conditions for what we were doing. So,
yeah.
Bob, how you doing, buddy? Glad you could join us. I can't see that. This is a cable. Oh, Kevin. Kayak Hermit Lake this week. Oh, dude, good luck. That place is pretty dope from what I've seen. All right, 8:07, close enough. Let's get into it. Hey, Doug. Not great. Lower Suncook seems water's too warm. Yeah, Dan, that's about that time. Hey, Keith. How you doing, man? Where's my sister? How's she doing, too? That's Keith. That's my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
Ish.
Glad you can stop in, dude. All right, let's get into it. So, we're going to talk about absolutely everything and nothing tonight, but I did want to dedicate some time to smallmouth. So, let's kind of hold off on that, actually, for a little bit. I want to let a few more people roll into the stream. Usually, it's like a 20-ish minute lag before people roll in, but I don't want to just sit here mumbling about nothing in the meantime. So, we'll kind of do what we usually do. We'll quickly recap what we did last weekend and kind of take it from there. Did you fish last weekend? We did. Where did we go? What day did we fish? Wait, no. I was off Friday and Saturday with family. And then Sunday, we went somewhere.
Where did we go?
Wow. Brain fart, man.
Tournament.
Oh, yes!
We had a tournament this past weekend.
Wow, my brain. No,
Jeez, I
no,
forgot.
this is actually great. So, tournament recap, right? And this was a really special one because it was swim baits only. And there's right there. Dude, it's right there. Swim baits only. No Kytex. Big boys. That is the smallest you are allowed for soft body swim baits. Had to be minimum 6-inch on the soft bodies and minimum 5-inch on the hard bodies. And this was with the Merrimack Valley Bass Anglers. Small club, small group of guys, all awesome people. Love fishing with those dudes. They're freaking hilarious. I don't think we've met a better group of ball busters than these guys.
It's fun with them. They're good guys.
Yep. So, go ahead.
I was not expecting to catch anything that day, honestly.
I had high hopes, but like tempered expectations because we've never gone out and straight just grinded big baits before. Like we've gone out at night and like with the goal of doing that, it's like a 4-hour stretch. And even then we're like, okay, we had like 6 different giant baits, 1 or 2 tied on and then others in the rotation, but we're still throwing like a jig and regular top water stuff on top of that. So to go out and fish an 8-hour tournament money on the line with a bunch of giant baits that we've never thrown like that before, and in especially conditions that really weren't that great for it, was pretty good.
It was a lot of fun, though. I mean,
Oops.
lost a lot of fish, which was surprising because I didn't even think we were going to get bit as much as we did. But we did. We ended up only getting 3 fish all day.
Out of a 4-fish limit.
Out of 4-fish limit. And we came in 3rd.
Out of 8 boats. It's not bad. I'll take it, considering it's something we've never done.
Yeah.
It was a southwestern small pond. Southwestern New Hampshire, small pond, a little over 100 acres, and it fishes pretty small even for a small pond, so there was a lot of guys rotating spots, but it was a cool experience because I'm very familiar with this place. My dad took me there in 1996, I think, 97, somewhere around there, and I've been fishing it off and on ever since, but not so much in the last 10 years because the spot kind of got blown up and it just got too busy. And I really wanted to fish bigger water, so I kind of shied away from it. But I've been back a couple times the last few years, and we went out there.
Kind of a cool place.
It is. It's different.
Way different than what I'm used to fishing.
It's a lot shallower than I think more people give it credit for. Like there's very little, we'll call it deep water relative to that place. And even the deepest point in there, I think, is only like 8 feet.
That's not deep.
Nope. So we went out there with the game plan of let's not get skunked. And that was it. Like literally,
let's just go out and have a good time and try and catch some fish.
Dude, that was my only expectation was I didn't want to get skunked. I'm very, very happy just to be able to catch one fish. And how long did we go before we got our first bite? Like 4 hours? 3 or 4 hours. It was a long stretch.
Was it?
It's pretty long. I think it was at least 3 hours up into 4.
No, because I got a bite as soon as we got to the backside of the island. That point. Remember I cast in the clump of lily pads? My line ripped away.
Yeah, well, okay, so you got a bite, but we didn't catch anything.
No.
I'm saying like first bass in the boat.
Oh, yeah, no, it was a while.
Any tips for fishing in a hurricane? Yeah, dude.
Charge your boat.
Big anchors. Hey, John and Mark and Z-Fish. Hey, buddy. So we went out, like I've got a variety of hard baits, none of which I happen to have on hand. No, there's nothing hiding over there. I've got a couple of like big crankdowns, like shallow crankdowns, 2 different styles from DEFCON swim baits out of Massachusetts. They're hard body, they're big treble hooks. They only go down like 2 to 3 feet. And then I had a couple of soft body swim baits, but our buddy Tyler over at Swim Bait Scrutiny, also out of New Hampshire, I was talking to him about it because I was like, I texted him, I was like, hey, you interested in fishing it? And they're like, no, we're good. We don't want to do tournaments. So just talking to him, I was like, man, I really wish I had some Citizen 6s because I had the 7s, but I really wanted a 6. He's like, I got 2 extras if you want them. Yeah. So he hooked us up. I don't know what color this is, but he pre-rigged it for us because he got the hook dead center perfect on it. One for Andrew, one for me. And I threw this for a little bit, but then I started really bouncing around between my shallow diving cranks. I really felt good about those. And we even worked a little top water. And then we actually you got a bite on this early.
Yep.
And there was no secret to it, man. We were just working like any other way. We were working the front side of all the lily pads. We were working channels we could find. We were working like
trying to get into the center of them. Literally drove the boat into the middle of the grass.
Yeah, dude. So at one point we buried the boat in the middle of like these crazy thick weed pads. They're just like lily pad fields, and we were literally like pitching this swim bait into little pockets and trying to like jig it along, and then we get like a 3 or 4 foot clear straight line that we could kind of swim it through, and then rinse, repeat, and we hope for the best. It didn't pan out.
Right.
Finally, we came around to that one spot in the middle.
We sat on that thing
for probably over an hour.
I'd say total probably close to 2 hours because at the end of the day we sat on it too.
Yeah, we did. Yep. And I don't know if we got into a school or if they were there. We just hit him at the right time. Don't know. It doesn't matter. All I know is that all of a sudden I got bumped. I set the hook and whiffed. And I'm like, I set the hook. I drop my rod, I look back, and Andrew, I'm like, dude, son of a bitch, I missed that fish. I start reeling in, I feel funk. I'm like, oh my God. And I set the hook, and I had the first fish of the day in the boat at 16 inches. Good enough. And then 2 casts later, I'm reeling, same deal, same bait. And I'm just working like the outside edge of this small, shallow hump inside of shallow water. So it's a very, very small elevation change. But then there was like this one isolated patch of lily pads on the side, and then there was like a little lane between the thicker part and the very outside, like stragglers. And I don't even know how many casts I put right in that lane. A lot. And my second cast after I caught the first one with this, I put it right back in that same lane. You ever get a spinnerbait bite or a jig bite that like thumps it so hard you can hear your line like rattle inside your guides? And then just dead slack. That's what happened with that.
Yeah.
And I set the hook. I got it in, no problem. I mean, it was pinned, and that was 3 pounds 5 ounces.
And the biggest one of the day for us.
Yep. Not a ton of 3-pounders out there for the day. And then we weren't like maybe 20 feet over. Andrew hooked up on another one that was like 14 inches, I think, roughly. Like best guess.
It wasn't big.
It was
keeper.
Yep.
It worked.
And then I proceeded to miss my next 3 consecutive bites, which sucked. And then that was it. Like, we didn't get anything until the last half an hour of the day, maybe 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then Andrew unfortunately missed 4 bites. You hooked into one for like maybe 2 seconds.
Yeah, and then it came off, yeah. I ripped it right out of its mouth.
So it was... We had a chance.
I was watching my line take off, and I just clicked the button, and I just let line out, like, eat it. Eat the thing.
Give it the corn.
So I know people always say, let him eat those, so I just let him eat it. I set the hook, and it was gone.
Yeah. And that was pretty much it. We went in, we were feeling kind of good because we didn't really see anybody else kind of cracking them. And we did all right. A couple of guys behind us had a limit. Actually, I think only 2 guys behind us had a limit. But trying to get into that 3+ pound range was tough. Only 2 guys had a 4-pounder. There is 3.7 from second place. I think it was 3.7. We had that 3 pound 5 ounce in our third place bag. One of my buddies there, Chris, was fishing there solo. He had a I think 3.3 pound,
3.37 something.
Yeah, so I'm almost the same size as mine, a little bit bigger. And that was it, man. It was a grind. It was a hot day, but it was fun as hell. Like, I really enjoyed doing that. I maintained patience, which is generally not my suit,
right?
Especially in conditions like this. But we had fun. Like, it was like legitimately a good time. Yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else you want to expand on from that day?
Not really. I mean, we just went out there and tried, and we worked, and we caught fish.
Yeah, it worked. Like
I don't really have any. We didn't really do anything crazy. We were just sitting there casting and grinding.
Yep. I did have I had really high hopes for all my shallow crankdowns from DEF CON, and I got bumped twice, but could have just been giant perch. No idea. Never hooked into anything. And it just didn't pan out. But the top 2 teams, first place and second place, were fishing shallow, hard body crankdowns like that. And that's what they caught their biggest fish on. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if mine was just the wrong color or if I wasn't fishing it the right way. I mean, there's 1,000 things it could have been, right? But didn't pan out for us, panned out for them. Backing up in the chat for a second. What did David say? David, only 8 inches, better be throwing the bluegill baits. Yeah, I got some of those, dude, but we didn't throw them that day. Hey, Dan, I think I already said hi. Mark got a 4-pounder in the Citizen 6 a couple weeks ago. I remember seeing that. Was that the one where you had your kid on your back? Or was that a different... No, that was a different bait. That was the DEF CON, wasn't it? I don't remember, buddy. You're going to have to remind me. Z-Fish, you guys planning on fishing the Cape soon? Been hammering some 4+ pound smallies lately. Had 21 pounds this weekend. Dude, that's awesome. We will not be down there until December.
Right.
We're going to Vermont. When the weather cools down, we will not be in New Hampshire. We're going further north. I'll be in Vermont.
Yep.
And Lake Champlain. If I'm lucky, I'll get back to the St. Lawrence River in October. That's my hope and goal. Or in September, but we'll see. We have an open invite, which I totally forgot to tell you about, to stay with a guy I know at his cabin up on Cape Vincent.
Ooh.
Yep. But my wife's already scheduled to work, so I need to figure out a way to work that out. Wife, if you're watching.
2-day tournament
please.
In October.
Yep, we had a 2-day tournament up in October in Vermont. We're already booked up. I already booked a house. I totally forgot to respond to that guy today, but it's all good. I found a place cheap. It's going to fit both boats. It's me and Andrew with my boat. My buddy Alex, yeah, wrong one. Well, yeah, my buddy. DJ, 3D_fishing on Instagram, and his friend Alex in their boat. And then our friend John, the owner of Wicked Custom Rods, is fishing with our other friend Sean, where Sean's not staying in the Airbnb we got. He lives already up by that lake, so he's just going to stay at his house, and we'll meet at the lakes the nights of, and it'll be good.
There's teeth marks on the weight.
Oh, dude, that thing got chomped. Chomped. I'm impressed how much, that thing got pretty rashed up. I got some good bites on that.
The other day too, and I was like, whoa, dude, this thing got beat up a little bit.
Yep. Mass Big Bait said, I've never had luck at that pond. Which one? Where we had the tournament? Mark, a little attractant on the citizens helps them eat it. Shad flavored goo. I slathered my 7-inch, and it only got bit once. I don't know. It's just, I don't know if it was the wrong color or the too big of a profile. I don't know. All right, I was right. It was DEF CON with the kiddo. Miles, when it comes to August, I lose all knowledge and skill. Nah, you're good. Oh, Hammer, you can't make that 2-day tourney. That sucks, dude.
Damn it.
And Mass Big Baits, yeah, where the tourney was. It's a tough lake, especially with how much pressure it gets lately. Like, it's insanely tough. So, yeah, I don't know, man. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Smallmouth for a little bit. Now we recapped what the tournament went. Before we get into it, for those that are watching, again, thank you very much. 1. 2, if you haven't yet, could you please do me a favor? At least drop a like on the stream. Always helps. And if those want to go the extra mile, share it out on any of your social media. That's hugely helpful. And if you're feeling really generous, there's a place to donate here in the stream. Also in the video description, there's Venmo and PayPal. Anything helps. Memory serves correct. We're up a little over $200 now in the fund going towards new camera to replace that webcam so we can get some 4K footage coming out of the stream, which would be nice. And then we can use that camera on the boat. Speaking of which, I will be back to normal on videos extremely quickly here, which would be good. And he's almost up online with his computer. So things are going to be going great right in time for winter. We're going to make it work. I just choked my own spit.
That's gross.
Yeah. TV18, thanks for joining, dude. Let's talk smallmouth. So you want to know how I did with Dennis on Monday?
I kind of do.
So let's first talk about conditions. We went out fishing, and we could have gone anywhere. I had most of the day. But he threw out some ideas, and initially, before we knew the weather, it was like a week and a half in advance, he was like, let's go to one of my favorite smallmouth places in the Lakes region of New Hampshire. All right, let's do it. 2 days before we go, I checked the weather. 80 degrees, bluebird skies, no wind. You don't go fishing for smallmouth, especially on this lake in these conditions. That is tough as nails, at least around here. Different ponds, a different forage, different structure might change, but when you're talking lakes region, it's usually no bueno, and especially in a couple of ponds and lakes where, that time of the year where they like to be for depth, there's no structure.
No.
It's just wide open.
It's just sandy, flat bottom.
Yep. You're chasing...
Maybe a log. Random log. A boat, maybe.
So it's just tough because they're roaming chasing the bait, and the bait don't really have anything to hold to except for a handful of spots where like nice steep banks kind of line up perfect with the depth they want to be at. Like that's it. There's not a whole ton of like perfectly placed deep structure because what's there is very limited. So, but I was like, you know what? Let's screw it. I need to get better at fishing suspended smallmouth, and we did that 2 weeks ago with pretty good success.
Mm-hmm.
Considering that's like the last thing that I feel we're both like not good at. There's no way to put it. It's tough, especially if you don't have like graphs. Your electronics.
I haven't really spent much time doing it either, because in those conditions we're just like, yeah, we're not gonna go there and try and catch those fish. We're just gonna go somewhere else and hammer them.
Right, and we've never really had to. That's the thing. Like we don't tournament fish that hard. And the few tournaments we do, they're never at this time of the year where we're in a situation that like, okay, crap, we have to go for smallmouth in these conditions and catch them suspended. Anytime we do a tournament where smallmouth are in play, it's usually early or late in the year.
Yeah, it's usually overcast and rainy, or it's
or the water is like a much more palatable temperature.
Right.
So we went out, and it was almost identical conditions for when you and I went. Like we were marking tons of bait, all in the right depths you'd expect them to be at. Like 30, 35 feet was pretty key.
Yep.
But we were seeing tons of fish swimming over the top of them. They were suspended in like 15 to 20 feet down. And we threw a bunch of the same stuff that Andrew and I threw when we had success 2 weeks ago, but they just weren't taking it. We only got a couple of good bites, and all of them are on the bottom. I forget what Dennis caught his on. I just remember it was, I think his was a drop shot. Oh, maybe his was a spy bait fish. I'll have to double check with him. But I'm pretty sure it was a drop shot. And then I caught one on the new open water sniper jig from Beast Coast, which is a tungsten resin football jig with a 2/0 hook, no brush guard. Thing's a killer. It looks so good.
Yeah, it's wicked nice.
Third spot we hit, my first fish of the day was on that, and he trucked it. And then the couple other bites I got later in the day were all on drop shot. Long bombing cast, just like we were doing the other day.
Yeah.
And I tried what we talked about. This is the important thing. When him and I did it, we had relatively short tags, 3/8 ounce weight, and we were bombing it. This time I went to a 1/4 ounce weight, 3-foot tag, and I was still bombing it, but I was trying to rely on like that slow fall and then like letting it kind of hang high.
Yeah.
I couldn't get a single bite doing that. The moment I shortened it back up and went to a heavier weight, I caught fish.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing, especially seeing how they're suspended. I don't get it.
I don't know if they react to the thump of the weight hitting the bottom. Whoa! Yo.
Yeah, seriously.
I don't know.
I can say that someone is giving me a message. Oh, Z-Fish, I'll get to you. I have a new rod built from Wicked Custom Rods. For when it comes to jigs and drop shots, now I've got like super high-end custom built things because I want the absolute best sensitivity I can get. I had a fish, the last fish of the day, second to last fish. I dropped the last one I actually fought. The last one I got in the boat, I cast that thing at least 150 feet. Like, it's a 4,000 series reel. It's big. It's only 10-pound braid, so it's super thin diameter. Big open face. Going with what little wind we got in the afternoon, 3/8 ounce weight. Like, dude, I can sling that thing at least 150 feet.
Oh, easily. Yeah.
It's almost at the bottom. It's falling, and I've got my spool open, and I can see it's all slack line. It's going across the bottom, and I felt that fish thump it. That's how freaking sensitive this rod is. In 35 feet of water, 150-ish feet away from me on dead slack line, and I felt the thump. That's impressive. But that goes to show how hard they were willing to hit the thing, too. Like, that thing trucked it, which is awesome.
Right. Well, braid, yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to feel it no matter what.
Right. Real quick before we continue, Paul, 4.2 smallmouth and 3 of the 3+ pounders over the weekend at a small pond in Vermont. That's awesome, man. There's a bunch of little places up there I really want to explore. But there's still like other places that I've already started fishing that I want to continue to explore. So we'll get there eventually. Dave, yes, talk about smallmouth. I can't catch one bigger than 17 inches to save my life this year. Caught someone a finesse worm over 40 inches. What? And 27 slow roll after drop. Okay. Interesting. All right. Let's. We kind of covered a lot of this last week when we were talking about like just summer fishing in general, right? We kind of put together a good amount of time when we were talking about smallmouth, but I want to expand on a few other things, and specifically like action or lack of action, what you're doing to help drive bites. Because that's the thing I think a lot of people tend to overdo when they're out there finesse fishing, is putting in too much when things have slowed way down in that summer heat.
Yeah.
When we're drop shot fishing this time of the year, I'll let you expand upon that. What are some of the key things that we've been doing that have been really panning out for us to make it work?
Long bombing it as far as you can cast it. Find the structure, if it's whether it's a rock pile or whatever you're gonna be fishing. If you're fishing a hump, move way off it and cast at it as far as you can. And you don't really need that much action. You don't need to be jerking that thing up and down crazy. You literally dead stick it, and they'll just pick it up.
Yep.
Don't move it.
And it's weird because we've had most of our success at this time of the year dead sticking it.
Yeah.
Zero action. Finding that happy. I mean, if you're using something like Z-Man baits with that, I forget what their material is for their plastics, but it's a floating plastic, same stuff the Ned rig's made out of. Mm-hmm. You're fishing something like that. When you dead stick it, it may not, depending on how deep you are and what line you're using, it may not want to float on its own. But in our case, where we're using super thin line, light duty the whole way across, those baits would kind of want to float up on their own. So it's easier to dead stick it. Otherwise, if you're using like any other traditional plastic, you need to lift up the rod tip so you have like just the slightest bow in your line. Not straight and taut, just put a little tension on it and hold it. Find that happy spot. And it's a little difficult when you're working with wind and everything, but ideally they usually say move the bait, not the weight. You need to lift up to the weight, but not move the bait.
Right.
That's been key. Yep. Hugely key for us
yep.
At this time of the year.
Just feel the weight, and just as soon as you feel it, just, no, there it is. Don't move it.
How long do you say on average we hold it there
You
before
or
we
me?
get bit? Either one of us.
I mean, I'll put my rod down on the deck. I don't know, maybe anywhere from 15 to 20 seconds, probably.
Yep.
Upwards of 30 seconds if we're talking.
Yeah, no, that's dead accurate. Like, yeah, I would say about 20 seconds has been the average. I mean, you get a hold her steady, and sometimes I'll work in a little shimmy shake here and there. If I do, it's usually like when I'm picking it up, like as I'm picking up, and then I'll dead stick it. And I'll just wait. And more often than not, you're going to feel like a thump. It may not be a violent one like a jig bite, but it's, a noticeable thump. Like there's no mistaking
Just a
it.
little thump. Oh,
Yep.
there it is. I mean, a rock's not going to come up and bite your shit, so.
Exactly. Little crayfish down there.
Yeah.
Little bastard.
15, 20 seconds feels like an eternity. Well,
It
come fishing with me. I'll make you wait.
It's funny because when I was fishing with Dennis on Monday, because he's been killing it. Like, I don't know if you guys know Dennis Hart. If you're on Facebook, he's the founder of Bass and Beers, a Facebook group a group on Facebook. And that guy's a hammer. Like, he's been catching so many fish this year. And we were talking about that. And I'm like, okay, well, talk to me about it. Like, I want to understand more about what you do because I haven't had numbers days like you're having in years. But I also know I've slowed way down. And he was like, dude, that's it. Like, I cover a ton of water. I think at this point we're on our first spot for maybe somewhere to 20 to 30 minutes. I'm like, okay, so I'm moving kind of quickly through here. Like, how fast we're moving? He's like, dude, this is glacial. Like, I'd already be on my third spot by now.
What?
Oh, yeah. He's like, I'm running gun. That's how I used to be for years. Especially when I was really starting to learn a bunch of techniques.
I can't do that. I've never been like fish for 3 seconds and move. Fish 3 seconds and move. I can't do it.
I used to be, but then I got, like, I wanted to catch bigger fish, and that's what everybody said, slow down. So we started slowing down, and our quality has gone up. We're not getting as much numbers, but the quality is definitely there.
Mm-hmm.
So it was interesting. Fishing with him and being able to just, like, talk it through. I wanted to hear his perspective on, like, how fast he fishes these spots and stuff. And then same for him, from his perspective, to watch me with how slow and methodical I'm going. And I'm like laughing to myself. I think I said it to him. I'm like, I'm fishing twice as fast as I normally do with Andrew. Like, I'm not moving as slow as I normally do. What the hell else was I going to say? I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought after that.
Fishing with Dennis.
Yeah, just that was the big thing. Like, we were talking about like different speeds and how it pans out for different anglers. There was another point I had. I'm sorry, I lost it. But there was something else I wanted to say. It's gone. We'll come back to it. I'll go to the chat for now. Mass Big Baits. Is the water up by you guys still high AF? Was up there in Peterborough a few weeks ago, and the road going to the ramp was closed due to the water covering it.
Yeah, we're getting 4 inches of rain tonight, so
it's going to be right back where it was.
Right, if not higher.
It definitely came down because up by where I work in Hopkinton, there's a river that I pass every day with a dam right there, right next to the bridge I go over. And for a while, the water was going over it so fast, it looked like one continuous unbroken just sheet of water. Like, you couldn't see any white underneath it or the top where, the concrete of the dam itself was kind of breaking it apart. It was just perfectly unbroken, smooth water up until like a week and a half ago. Sorry. Ooh, I punched the mic. And then I started to see like little, ribbons of white starting to show up. So I could tell it was starting to slow down. And then the next day, more white and so on and so forth. Like, a week into it, like all the way across this big dam was, a lot of white. So you could tell it slowed way down. It was starting to kind of break on the dam itself. But like Andrew just said, we had flash flood warnings all day yesterday into today because whatever the remnants of this hurricane is passing through, and it's dumping.
I didn't even know it was a hurricane until like this morning.
Yeah, me either. I don't look at the news or the weather or anything anymore. I look Saturday night before I go fishing Sunday because it doesn't matter to me. I've got Sunday and I'm going fishing Sunday. So looking ahead of time, it doesn't mean squat. I have 2 ideas for close and far from home. So then I check the weather Saturday night and make my decision based on that. When I have the most accurate forecast to go by. Otherwise, I just don't give a damn anymore.
Yeah.
Tim Perrin said slow dragging. So, I typically do well doing that with drop shot or
Depends
just
on
small
the day.
in general.
I have better luck doing that when it's windy out.
Yep. And especially anywhere where there's relative current, which is kind of rare. Like, if I've got current, then yeah, I want to drag it. But I don't know, for the most part, I actually do better hopping it along versus dragging it. Tube, my exception. And I know you can kill it cracking a tube, but I do better dragging a tube than I do popping it. It's weird. I am having problems over here.
Dragging a tube, I definitely get more bites dragging a tube than popping it.
Yep. But jigs,
Sure.
I do better when I'm popping it. To drop shot, I do better when I'm either dead sticking it or popping it along.
Mm-hmm.
But no, dragging it does work for the most part. I mean, but I like to do it better when I'm in current. I don't know, it's kind of makes sense. Z-fish, yes, you were right. It's elastomer. Sorry, thank you.
So what? What?
We were talking about Z-Man. I couldn't remember what the name of the material was for their baits.
Oh.
Hammer time. When you're getting pecked at by perch, upsize or keep setting the hook every 10 seconds. Been fishing clouds of perch, having a good time picking through bigger and smaller fish. That's actually a really good question.
Sorry, what was the question?
When you're getting pecked at by perch, upsize your bait or keep setting the hook every 10 seconds and hoping that one of them's a bass.
I just keep the same size because it's if you find the right size bait for the right size bait fish, just keep going with it.
Yep.
Because they're gonna see one bigger one and be like, it's a little fucked up there.
Right.
I'm not gonna eat that one.
This is the other that we can segue this into the next like major point about fishing this time of the year. And I know again we covered it last week, but for those that weren't here, I want to elaborate on it. And this is perfect to Hammer Time's comment. Fishing in versus around the bait. If you're fishing in the bait, you're not getting bit. You're just constantly getting trucked by bait fish. And especially if you're not marking, like eventually you should be able to see like a much broader boomerang or solid line going through that school, whether it's down low, middle, or right above the top. Something to indicate there's bigger fish feeding on it. If you're not seeing that and all you're getting bit by is those bait fish, if you're right over the top of the school, start casting all around it because those bass are not going to be far from it and they're not always in it. Sometimes they're just roaming, I'm going to generalize because it's really hard to say exactly how far away they are, but they could be, 10, 20, 50, 80, 100 feet away from the school, but close to it, especially in that clear water, easier for them to track it. And they'll follow it and eventually they'll kind of move in, blast it, get a bite to eat, come back out. And, it depends on where they are in the lake, weather conditions and all that stuff. So that's what I'd recommend. Just move out a little bit.
Something about that size. I don't know if size really matters when you're fishing a school because those fish are blasting through that school, a bait fish, with their mouth open. Whatever goes into their mouth is going in.
Right.
They just turn around, they wait, and they're like, okay, ready again. Straight back through it again. I don't know if I don't think they're really picking apart and choosing which fish they're going to eat.
No, for me, color is much, much more important.
Right.
I mean, for years before I got into the Magic Flick, I fished a 5-inch finesse worm. And I killed it, like, all season long doing that for a drop shot for smallmouth. So size is never an issue. Like, there's not that many 5-inch smelt. There's plenty of perch that size and things like that smallmouth want to eat. But when we're, where we're fishing up in the lakes region, we're primarily targeting smelt eating smallmouth. So I need color that kind of more closely matches that. It's weird. Like some days, like a straight green pumpkin is killer for it. But otherwise, like when you and I were out 2 weeks ago, it had to be a smelt color, something really close to it, something white with a little bit of off coloring to it. Otherwise we couldn't get bit.
Nope.
But size didn't matter because we had little 2-inch flukes that were kind of getting nibbles. I had like almost a 4-inch smelt color that was working. I've got some 3-inch smelt baits that have worked in the past. Like as long as it's right color, you're good.
Giant blade baits. Mike John.
Mike Lone.
Lone.
Mike Jones.
Lone. Oh, it is an L. Jeez.
It's all good. David said, I've gotten faster over the years. I've caught more and bigger fish, largemouth. It depends. Like there's two schools of thought to it. And it depends on what your comfort level is. You can do extremely well fishing really, really fast. Oh, nice. Mike, I know you. Dude, hey, thanks for tuning in, buddy. I appreciate it. I've known him for ages on Bass Boat Central.
Really?
Yep.
Oh,
Wicked nice guy. Two schools of thought, right? When it comes to fishing for bigger fish, you go really, really slow. Finesse them. Those fish are a little bit more weary, if you want to say it like that, and they're eventually going to come in and bite, but you got to give them time to kind of work their way through it, and then fish insanely fast, like KVD style. And then at that point, you're going after that reaction bite. They don't have time to think, just natural instinct kicks in, and something of the right size in the right area is blasting by. It might be the only thing they're going to see for a little bit, and I have to run that down because I'm hungry, and I don't know when the next bite's going to come by. So neither one's wrong. It all depends on your school or your comfort zone, what you prefer to do.
Pretty much.
Z-Fish. 3 baits for smallmouth you're most confident in, always have on the deck. Curious if yours differs from mine in mass. Oh, you're first, buddy.
Probably drop shot, tube, and probably a jig of some sort. Definitely a jig of some sort.
Yep.
100% a jig of some sort. Drop shot, and then tube. Well, tube could somewhat kind of be a jig. Kind of.
Yeah. No, I'd keep it its own thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the same thing. A drop shot, tube, with honorable mention to Ned Rig. It's very close, but I like fishing a tube more. It's more my style. You can fish it really slow, or you can fish it fast. You can cover water like thoroughly or quickly. It's more universal, and it doesn't matter where you are. Smallmouth eat tubes everywhere. Same thing in Ned Rigs, but it's much more slower. Like, you can fish a heavier weight, but I find it's more effective with a really, really, really lightweight. So for my confidence in it, a tube, I can be more versatile. And then same thing with steel jig. I mean, now that new open water sniper jig from Beast Coast, I'm telling you, dude, that thing is legit. Like that, they knocked it out of the park with that. It is an absolute perfect smallmouth killer.
Yeah, it really is.
The Beast Coast Hustler is another big one. And then you can still get away with just fishing a regular old 1/2 ounce, 3/4 ounce football jig. Cut the brush guard off, so you don't have to worry about that for the smallmouth. I know guys that still do that to this day, fishing it out really, really deep water with like a twin tail grub on it, or just a really small craw. You get like a rage craw, you cut it down, like that much off the backside, so the claws are just a little bit more compact presentation. Yeah, man, those are absolutely my 3. What are your favorite drop shot baits?
Beast Coast Magic Flick. The Z-Man, what the hell are those things called?
Minnow Z.
Is it?
I think so. No. Minnow Z is their small swim bait one.
Speed Minnow or something.
You kill me. I can't remember.
God, I don't remember the name of it. It's a Z-Man drop shot bait. It's thing's sick. And
someone's gonna beat me to this in the chat.
And the Smatus one. That's I forget what he calls them. His Smatus drop shot baits.
Trick shot from Z-Man.
Z-Man trick shot. That's what it was.
Ha! Beat everybody.
And the Smatus. What are his called?
Yeah. I can't remember. I'm gonna look it up because those are great.
Yeah,
and he's got a bunch of really good colors.
It does. Smatus shot. Yep, that's the one.
Yeah, 3.25 inch Smatus shot. There we go. Mike actually brings up a good point, Mike, because I know I brought this up on BBC a couple of times with various videos, and a lot of guys chimed in. The effectiveness of a blade bait year round, and that's something we don't do. However, Dennis was throwing the hell out of it when we were up there on Monday.
The what?
Blade bait.
Oh shit.
Yep, I know guys that do it, and like not just for smallmouth either, like for largemouth. You can kind of burn it. You almost work it like essentially
like a lipless crank.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah. You can work it aggressive depending on the conditions. Like it's a viable thing. I myself haven't done it, but I've seen plenty of other guys mention it that I absolutely
threw
trust.
It not that long ago. When I was up on that lake that we don't ever catch any smallmouth at.
Oh yeah, that garbage hole.
Yeah, it's a lake, Trout Lake.
Kevin asks, will a smallmouth go after a 7-inch swim bait?
Yep,
dude,
they will.
Whether or not they hit it,
they'll follow it for freaking sure.
It's kind of like how a glide works for like anything, right? It's just a big presentation. You typically swim those. You don't have to swim the slow, but something like that, I at least envision would be a little bit slower. So it is just like a beacon in the freaking swimming through the water. We're like, everyone's like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
They can't help but to go look at it because it just looks like a perfect fish that's easy for them to visualize and then follow and track in.
Boy, he's swimming funny.
Steve Kennedy, a little bit different because it's glide, but kind of along that same premise. Steve Kennedy, and every year he's gone to the St. Lawrence River, especially when he did really well there 3 or 4 years ago now. He was throwing a big glide, I think it was a 6 or even an 8-inch.
Jeez.
And he was using that to call out the smallmouth, and then he had a hair jig to follow up to cast back out at them, and that's how he was catching them. So again, whether or not they hit it, I'm not going to expand on that because I don't want to give away someone's secret juice. Yes, they will. When is key, and that's something you have to figure out for yourself. I'm sorry, I cannot share that information.
Yeah.
What else do we miss here? Oh, Brett Gagnon. Check out the X-Zone Finesse Slammer. I have those. They're great.
I've used them.
And yeah, Mike, you're exactly right. Just like food.
Those are the ones that look like the Gaijos, right?
Yeah. They're just slimmer profile.
How they are. Yeah, it's a little smaller.
Kevin said, a friend that showed me Team Davies Ventana tier shot weights that had a rattle in it. It states the rattle outfish anyone with a regular drop shot weight. Makes sense. I know guys that specifically do well fishing heavy football jigs with rattles on them out deeper for smallmouth. That rattle is supposed to mimic bait fish feeding something. I forget.
The what?
The rattle's supposed to, it's
it's
supposed to mimic.
to be like supposedly the same decibel as a crayfish eating or like
or bait fish
or
eating,
bait fish.
like shellfish of some kind.
Yeah.
Because Beco Jigs has a rattling jig head. The rattle's inside the head itself.
Mm-hmm.
And same deal. Like it's supposed to have that. The rattle's supposed to resonate or have the same resonance. Help me out here. Resonance as bait fish feeding down like that. So I believe it. But the way I fish a drop shot, that would be useless for me. Because again, move the bait, not the weight. So I don't know. I'm kind of hesitant to want to fish something like that. I'd be willing to give it a shot. I'll never say no to that.
Mm-hmm.
Z-Fish, that bite Smallmouth Freak posts about with the big swimmers in cold water looks awesome. Got to dial it in for myself. Mm-hmm.
You do.
Moving on.
It's fun.
It is, and that's something that I want. Can you grab that bait, please, in the bag? It's right behind the frog. Oh yeah. Yep. So, yeah, Smallmouth Freaks knows what he's doing, and he's been giving me some ideas, and I finally got my hands on a bait that's rather hard to get a hold of. Burrito baits. Check out that sexy mama. It's 6.5 inch, 2 ounce weight, I believe, something like that. I don't even know if you're able to see that, but I'll try and go slow. I don't want to blow out the focus on the camera. It's a rainbow trout. Exposed hook on the back, like as you can see, like it's clearly got a lot of give in the tail. But if I've already had 2 of these in different colors, the swim on these is really, really good. More importantly, because I even have a gill on this, when this thing hits the bottom, hang on, back up a little bit here. It sits like that, head down. You can almost work it like a jig through the rocks. It's killer. Oh, I gotta move it further back. The logo's breaking it. But anyway, yeah, it's supposed to sit like that, like head down. So when you swim it through the rocks, it wants to it almost looks like a fish kind of feeding down through it. And I know it's not what a rainbow would typically do, but it doesn't matter. As again, for me, color is key. So I got that specifically for later in the year. And I think it's going to be pretty dope.
Dude, that paint was ridiculous.
So this one is from Bullshad because
Really?
they're collaborating now. So I got that and a black crappie that it just looks insane.
Oh, the crappie. I did see that one. I didn't see this one, though.
Yeah. So it's, yeah.
Thing's sweet.
So we got to talk about a couple of key points for smallmouth. Again, we have talked about, what do you want? Huh? Oh yeah, thanks. We've talked about smallmouth a lot on these streams, but there was a couple of big points that I really wanted to cover. Specifically about the drop shot, because that's something a lot of people like to talk about, but I see too many people emphasizing too much action in the bait at this time of the year. Dude, dead sticking. All right, that's point number 1 we're recapping here. And then point number 2 would be working in versus around the bait. If you're dropping into the middle of school, you're not getting bit, start fishing around it. Move back 100 feet, especially if you have a means of being able to track them some way. If you got 360, you can tune that in that you can see a school, even if it's slightly off the bottom, but generally like a big enough school worth chasing, you can pick up on 360, even pretty far off. Just fish around it. If they're not in the school, they're not too far away from it. Right. So just kind of be open-minded. As long as you're in a bait school, just trust the fish are nearby. Sometimes, though, they're not active, so, be flexible. Be mindful of where that school was, just because, case in point, where we were, right? A couple weeks ago, that spot in the morning, we didn't catch anything. But when we came back in the afternoon, they were fired up and we were eating, and we were catching them.
Yep.
Same deal when Dennis and I went back on Monday. In the morning, we were marking bait and we were marking bass.
One there in the morning.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
First thing off, got one, and then there was nothing.
Yep.
I think it was just a fluke thing. I think it was just kind of hanging out.
Yep. We fished that spot for 45 minutes in the morning and nothing. And very, very clearly marking fish. They were in and just off the sides of all these bait balls, but nothing. But then come back in the afternoon, that bait had shifted just down a little bit deeper. And I think at that point, it kind of pushed them just below where the majority of those suspending smallmouth wanted to be. And then we started catching them. So again, for the bait versus fishing inside it versus around it, be mindful of the time of the day, weather conditions, things like that. As long as you're finding bait, you're going to find bass. I'm confident of that. It hasn't let me down yet. One thing I really want to expand upon, and this is kind of, in my opinion, probably the most important piece of this stream tonight. Before, and at any point, guys, hit us with questions too, by all means, because I don't want to always have to rely on just like a specific topic for the night. But prepping, it's getting relatively close to cold weather, not necessarily cold water. Depends on the size of body you're fishing. So for those that missed it at the beginning of the stream, how much money did I just spend on baits that I won't throw for the next 3 months?
180. Almost $200.
Literally everything I bought today, I will not throw until October. And I would probably even say the end of October.
What did you buy?
Huh? I bought enough for the two of us. Because I didn't plan ahead.
Cool.
Sorry. I'll go ahead. Dive in. Now's the time. If you're adamant about getting out there in that colder water, you guys need to start figuring out what you want to buy and get in the next couple weeks, because there's some baits that are already out of stock, and with the insane just cost of everything right now, especially raw materials, steel, aluminum, lead, like literally any metals is insane. And all the pricing on things are going up. Availability is hard to come by for a lot of these things. So how quickly these people are going to be able to replenish things is going to become more difficult. I mean, it's worldwide, and there isn't a single industry, I don't think, that isn't being impacted still to this day, just by a shortage of everything. It's kind of scary to a degree. So if you're thinking that you want to go after it hard this year, when it starts to get really cold, start making your list now. And I cannot begin to tell you how much I recommend you have everything bought within the next 3 to 4 weeks. It's very early, but you get exactly what you want. And I said that, how many times did I say that for the first, 6-7 streams at the beginning of this, when we started this in January, for everybody buying the jackhammers?
Yeah, you better grab them now.
How
Guess
many?
What? They were all gone within like 2 weeks.
And how many people do we see coming to the chat? Oh, we should have listened to you.
Yeah.
Yes, you should have. And I don't get anything from telling you guys to buy things. I don't have any affiliate links for baits in there. However, if you're looking for stuff from Lose, there's an affiliate link down there that'll help you guys out. And FXR and Dragon Custom Tackle, whole 9 yards. I get nothing. Like, I don't benefit from this. I'm just literally trying to help you guys out. I've been burned like the last 3 or 4 years in a row where I'm getting more confident fishing late in the year. We both are. So trying to buy these baits ahead of time. We go out and I'm like, oh crap, I forgot to buy this. And I go look and everything's on back order like into January. That's not going to help me. I can't even buy stuff, like even trying to find like knockoff brand stuff. Like it's hard to come by when you get, within a couple weeks, and especially into the heart of the season, you want to be throwing those baits. So make sure you're doing that. With that in mind, let's talk about some of those key baits that we think you should be throwing. If we're talking cold water, we're like, and it's not really cold, but it's kind of colder, 50 degrees and lower.
50
How much of this do we want to give away?
I don't know.
There was that bread and butter thing we had. Let's do the obvious.
I ain't telling them that.
Sorry.
That's
There's one thing that we absolutely hammered on. We're not going to share that. Jigs. I can say that. Jigs, like
100% jigs.
And be open-minded on what jigs. Like, I already went and bought 20 of the open water sniper jigs. 5 of 4 different colors. And only one of those colors I'm throwing right now. All the rest I bought for the end of the year. Because again, I do not want to have to go into that season and think to myself, oh crap, I don't have the jig that I want to throw. And actually, I totally forgot. Out of that order today, not all of them were hard baits. There was 4 bags each of 2 different colors, black and blue. It's actually almost like a jet black. and it's all the max scent for trailers, specifically for those open water sniper jigs from Beast Coast.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm guaranteeing we are going to smash some big fish on those.
Mm-hmm.
The style of the trailer, the fact that it's a max scent, it's going to go on there. It's
How heavy are those?
Half ounce.
Perfect.
Perfect for dragging. Open water, exactly what they're intended to, but because they're a tungsten resin, they actually do have almost like a lead-like consistency to them. They will give. So if you hit a rock, you get a little snag, it does pop out. And I can confirm that because I just did that on Monday when I was dragging these things. I did it a little bit at Champlain the weekend before, but there's a little too much vegetation, and there's tons of zebra mussels there. So it's not really a great comparison. But, Lakes Region, New Hampshire, it's just sand and rock. Climbed through everything perfect, never got snagged.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime it did get snagged, just kind of pull back on a little bit and it popped right out. That's number one. Beast Coast open water sniper. Be open-minded on your colors.
Mm-hmm. They still change what they want to eat, what color, on an hourly basis. So
there's one color. Go ahead, sorry.
38-degree water.
There's one color I didn't buy in that yet. Remember what we won the tournament on?
Yep.
Last year
Mm-hmm.
on the Hustler.
Mm-hmm.
They have that in the open water sniper, and for that exact pond for that time of the year. Well, actually, it should work killer on the 2 ponds we're going to be fishing at the end of the year.
Don't
Anyway,
we have a tournament there?
Yeah, but I don't remember when. It's on October. We actually might miss it. I think it's the same weekend we're going to be in Vermont.
Oh,
Jigs.
We should use that there.
I've already got a case full of stuff.
Yes.
We're good on that. we ready. Yeah, Z-Fish, you're right. That is the benefit of making your own jigs. But you can do that. To that point, for anybody thinking about it, you don't have to pour your own jigs. There's a couple of websites that will sell just jig heads. leadfreebassjigs.com, he sells every single type of jig head you could possibly want with a variety of hook sizes with no skirt. So you could buy your skirts, you could buy the material to make your own custom colored skirts, like the whole 9 yards.
Mm-hmm.
If that's
I actually bought skirts from him at where was that? The bait shop in Sunapee.
Tackle Trap?
Tackle shop?
I'll meet you at the tackle shop.
Something. It's a tackle shop in Sunapee. They carry a bunch of bass free lead jigs there.
Yep.
And accessories. Bass free lead jig accessories.
It's a good shop. They have 2. They have one up by Lake Sunapee, and then they have one in Meredith, New Hampshire, right by Lake Winnipesaukee.
Do they?
Yep.
Huh.
So local spots if you guys need it. Otherwise, the guy's got a pretty good online store, and his prices are killer. So even if you're not buying them like wholesale to like make your own, they're great.
The Tackle Shack. That's what it was.
I did. Is that what I said?
I think so.
No, I said Tackle Trap. I don't even know what I said.
Tackle Trap.
Thank you, New Hampshire Fishing Gal.
And Gordy.
Wait, where did he say it?
No, he didn't say that. I'm name dropping.
I like it. Z-Fish, did you get any of Travis's colors? Travis Manson is Smallmouth Crush on YouTube. And he was the one that really kind of, I don't know if he drove it or if it was a collaboration idea between the two. Talking to Derek, the owner of Beast Coast, I didn't get that story. I just know that Travis's logo is on there. It's his thing.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
But yeah, I got all his colors. They knocked it out of the park. It's perfect for what you want to be doing around here in New England, northern New Hampshire. He's got all the perfect colors. He's got just the stealth versions. So just 100% straight green pumpkin, straight black. Those two are awesome. Mm-hmm. Awesome options. David said, everything in the lake eats max scent. Make sure you're on the bass or the perch. Sunfish will ruin money and baits in no time. Absolutely true on that one. All right, so cold water, football jigs.
Yes.
Spider jigs too. They're going to go hand in hand, right? You can use ball head jig or football. Doesn't matter. Those are the only 2 I use if I'm using a spider grub on it to create a spider jig. 3/8 ounce is my go-to. 1/2 ounce as well works. Again, lead-free bass jigs. That's pretty much where I get all of those anyway, with brush guards and without. So another great resource to use. If you can find some good tungsten options cheap, please let me know because I can't find any. I'm trying to convince Derek at Beast Coast that he should offer those. That would be awesome. But I know it's kind of hard.
Just straight football jigs.
Yep.
He'd probably make a killing on it.
And he's got some baits that would make an absolute killing on it, just fishing
would.
it like that. Like, dude, the Marauder trailer, like just on a naked football head jig for smallmouth would be killer. Magic flick on a shaky head?
The 4-inch magic flick?
Ooh, see, now we're talking. Yeah, actually, that on a 4-inch magic flick on a ball head jig would be killer.
Head in 40 feet of water.
Yep. I like where your head's at, buddy.
It's in the sand like an ostrich. I'm hiding.
All right, so jigs. Whether it be a finesse skirted jig or a naked jig that you throw some sort of trailer on it, like those are great. Or shaky head even. It's kind of along the same lines. So we'll call all those number one. Number two, to that, we're talking cold water. Drop shot's still viable.
It is.
You're on the tail end of it.
I feel like Ned rig works better than drop shot though.
Wholeheartedly agree.
It's just a smaller presentation.
You're still going really lightweight when you do that at that time of the year, right? You're not going extra light or even a little heavier.
No, probably. I mean, depending on how deep you are, you still want to get it down to the bottom, but I don't know, anywhere from like 15 to 20 feet, probably get away with. 3/8 probably be even a quarter.
Quarter, yeah. I mean, also I
Actually,
have in my
probably
boat.
even go less.
Almost everything I throw for those is 1/10 ounce.
Oh,
I do have some quarter-ounce ones, but I rarely throw them.
I would quarter.
You what?
I would go quarter, but that's just me.
Depends on how deep. Well, you just said it depends on how deep we're fishing. Right. You know, if most of the stuff we're fishing, that time of the year we're talking like the onset of the cold water, we're still only like 30, 35 feet. You know, because they're gonna kind of. It's weird. Like in the spring, they're deep. They come up shallow. They're deep. Whereas in the fall, like they're just deep and they're deep, and then they're like kind of deep.
Jig still.
And then they go deep, and then they go really deep. What'd you say?
I'm thinking jig still. Ned rig.
Yeah, Ned rig would be the one behind that. Tube still kills it.
Yep.
Especially in places with current.
I mean, 50-degree water, they are moving.
Yeah,
they are chomping.
We'll call it 50 down to 45 because that's like 45 is really that turning point late in the year.
Mm-hmm. You still toss a square bill. I caught one off a square bill last year late.
Yeah,
that was a largie.
Oh yeah, we're talking Smallies.
I know.
Pitter patter.
I know.
For everybody else that's showing up the stream, I'm watching the viewer count go up. Thank you very much for everybody showing up to watch. Greatly appreciate it. Jump in the chat. We're talking about baits that we're recommending for cold water smallmouth because I want to make sure people are thinking about it now and buying things in the next few weeks before they run out of stock. So we already covered finesse football jigs, ball heads, or spider jigs, shaky heads, like things like that. And then Ned rig is what Andrew said. I said drop shot because it's still kind of viable at that point.
I feel like it's more bottom contact though.
Yeah, but then beyond that, blade baits. Like those are the four big things that I would recommend. And there's a ton more you can do, but like if you're looking for the core things, still give me your kind of one size fits all option here. That's what I would. Dan, that's a loaded question. What do you consider late season?
Just before ice in.
No, yeah, that like I can still launch my boat. That's it.
Yeah.
We were. I'll never forget it.
We literally fished. Yeah, I know exactly what day you're talking about too.
December 30th.
We came back in. There was ice on launch.
Yep.
Oh, that whole day started with us back and forth.
Yep. Wait, so best example, Dan. We went out December 30th to Lakes Region, New Hampshire, and on the south end, the ice was thick enough, and it's a lake trout lake. So from January 1st. Inclusive through March 31st inclusive, for those that are unaware in New Hampshire, if it's a designated lake trout and or landlocked salmon lake, you can only fish it through the ice in those times. January 1 through March 31st, inclusive of those dates. We're out there December 30th. And there were guys out on the south end on ice thick enough, driving out there on four-wheelers, multiple four-wheelers, dragging their ice shacks out.
It was like
getting
a
ready
6x6 type.
Yeah, one of those amphibious things.
Yeah.
And we're driving by the bass, we're like, hey. And we were only, half a mile, well, maybe not, half a mile to a mile past them where we launched.
Yep.
And we fished open water. And then we came back to the boat launch a couple hours later, and there was ice.
We literally had to go back to the store. How many pounds? 500 pounds of sand?
Yeah, I think we bought 8 bags. Yeah, so it was pretty close. Yeah, I think it's 50 pounds a bag. So it was 400 pounds of sand.
Yeah, 400 pounds of sand. We're sitting there chipping ice. It took probably 40 minutes for us to actually, from getting there, after going to the hardware store, probably 45 minutes to get onto the water.
Yep.
And it worked. We got out, breaking some ice going out, but
it was beautiful. I mean, it was cold.
So nice.
Air temp was mid-20s.
Yeah.
It hurt. It literally hurt to run because it was so cold.
Horrible.
But I remember I had the towel in the boat, and I'm running. I'm like completely geared up. I've got this much of my face exposed so I can at least see where I'm going. And I still even have my sunglasses on. So just this little strip down below my sunglasses to my face mask. Because if I had it up any higher, I was fogging up my glasses. And I had a towel for wiping down the boat. And he's hunkered down in the seat with the towel over. I'm like, let me know when we're there. Dude, it sucked. It was cold.
It was freezing.
That's what we mean by late season. We will literally fish until there's ice on the lake.
So we literally can't fish it.
Yeah, no, that's even better put. So those are the big things. And then blade baits, dude, keep it simple. Chrome/silver and gold. Chrome if it's sunny, gold if it's cloudier. Because gold has better reflective properties than silver. If memory serves correct, I have this right. So you want the gold on not full bright sun days. And then you want that straight chrome on sunny days. And I mean, there's 1,000 different ways you can work it. And we'll get into that later in the season. But those are the big things I really want to put on everybody's radar. If you're dead serious about getting out there when the water's like 45 to 40, is actually a pretty nice window. When you put the time in, you kind of start developing patterns and spots on some good lakes. You can hammer smallmouth at that time of the year.
Oh, yeah.
Not just bigs, but numbers.
We've done it.
Yep. We've done it both ways. So to recap, in one nice little list, we had football jigs, finesse football jigs, spider grubs. I would even throw in tubes to add to the list right now. Ned rig, drop shot is still viable, and then blade baits.
You can even get away with jerkbait if you really want to grind it out.
Yeah,
for sure. You definitely.
I feel like you've done that.
I have.
I've done. That's something I would typically still only do for largemouth, just because I don't have that much confidence in the jerkbait still. But I'm getting there.
I get more confidence the colder it gets.
Yeah.
Because I can work it slow, like the way I want to work it. Not have to keep freaking smashing my wrist every time.
You're just reminding me that I smashed my jerkbait rod when I was helping that woman on Newfound.
Oh, that's right.
New ghost trolling motor, and the kickstand for when you stow it is a foot further away from the one on the Ultrex because it's a bigger trolling motor and the position of it's a little different. My rod was in a spot that was always fine with the Ultrex, but not for the ghost. First day we were fishing with it, and there's a woman, her motor died. She was blown into some shallow rocks, and
God, Jesus. All right, let's go.
Yep. And I pulled up the trolling motor, and it's a split grip handle on my Team Lose Custom Pro Speed Stick. So it's their $230-ish rods, and smash right through, snapped the rod clean in half between the pistol grip, or the real seat grip, and then the butt end grip. And that was my jerkbait rod.
Yeah, it sucks.
R.I.P. in peace, little buddy. Plus side, I have an extra rod for guides for when I break them, because I break a lot because I'm an idiot. I carry my rods. So, backing up into the chat, Kevin said, Swagger Tackle has tungsten football jigs without skirts, if that's what you're looking for. Yes, thank you for that. Greatly appreciate it. And then David said, swim shot, cold water. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'll say. Yeah, Brian, you're absolutely right. You remember when we brought the snowboarder to ramp? I mean, other end of the season, that was spring.
That was my PB video.
Yes, it was. 7 pounds, 7 ounces, which you can still see on the YouTube channel.
Back in March of, March of 2000, when was that? 17, 18?
17.
17? Jesus.
I think it was a full year before I got the Ranger. The Skeeter. I'm going to have to go back and look, because I think it was the year before. Because I think we got out in spring the next year again in the Ranger, but I could be wrong. It was either 2017 or 2018, but it was actually probably 2018.
I think it was 18.
No, neither here nor there. It's there. I think it's I think it's in the top 5 most viewed videos on the channel. So if you just sort, like, go to all videos, go to popular, and or sort by most viewed or popular, whatever the hell it is YouTube says, you should be able to find it very easily from there. The thumbnail is Andrew holding his fish. So Z-Fish asked, so your fish primarily are on smelt. In the warmer water months, are on a pattern chasing alewives and birds. Do you notice any difference when fishing for fish on different kinds of bait fish? Yes, and I'm glad you brought this up because I wanted to take a moment to expand upon the different fisheries that we have fished over the last, well, now 2 years. And the variety of baits and stuff.
Ridiculous.
Oh, dude, it's insane.
Can't keep up.
Nope.
I don't know how these tournament dudes do it.
So if you're down on Candlewood or if you're on Champlain, alewives play a huge role in things. And those are different from how smelt would react. So how you would want to tackle those, I don't have a ton of experience, but I know that like using the birds to chase bait is definitely different.
I think alewives like to be up top, don't they?
Yeah, so like top water becomes much more viable, and that's the thing I noticed from, I know plenty of guys have talked about it, but watching the elites this year when they were on Champlain, they were talking about that a lot. Like, a lot of guys were just following the birds and they're waiting for the bait fish to blow up, or just waiting for the birds to do their thing, and they throw top water over the top of the bait, and it was working extremely well. So when they're... It's a little different when you're doing that because I feel like for alewives, the drop shot isn't quite as viable, but I don't know. I can't speak confidently about that. I probably said something really stupid. Please forgive me. I don't know. It's different with alewives. I just know that they react a little bit different. I don't have a ton of experience with those, so I'm just actually going to stop talking about it now because I don't know.
Yeah, those are weird. We stay away from them.
But depending upon... The important point is you brought up like different bait fish and how fish react differently, right? So they definitely react differently for alewife. I can't speak confidently how they do it. If the smallmouth are fishing on or feeding on crayfish, like that's pretty straightforward. You're fishing bottom contact. You're fishing more natural colors, green pumpkins, browns, things like that, blacks late in the year.
I don't even know how big alewife get.
Alewife can get pretty big, but I think in general they don't get that much bigger than smelt. For like your landlocked alewives that you would find
3-4 inches.
Yeah, I think it's pretty typical. And then so Z-fish. And what role does baitfish play fishing for smallies in the cold months? Huge. Like baitfish is always key, but they change what they eat. Like for the bulk of the year, for the places we fish, smelt is huge.
Yep.
But on either end of the season, I feel that perch are more important.
Yeah, I do too.
Because we're pulling them up when we're fishing in those areas. Crawfish still play a degree of an impact in them, especially in the spring as water's warming up. Like that's huge. So like it's a little bit different how you want to approach that, and like your color schemes and stuff that relate to that. But then later in the year, what we're talking to specifically, the baitfish play a big role, and there's a change that does occur at some point where like smelt and perch, which one they prefer to feed on, kind of changes. And I don't have enough experience to really to elaborate on that and expand. And
I feel like it's after the perch spawn.
Yeah, early in the season.
Right.
But then when we're talking like late in the season, when things are cooling way off, like at some point the smelt go and do something different, and the smallmouth and the perch start to mingle a lot more.
Does smelt go upriver?
Yeah, well, they're typically a spring spawner. So, like right at ice out is where you start to see the smelt like running up, like at any inlets,
right? Okay,
streams and stuff. That's where that's where they like to spawn. So that's where you would find most of them. So I don't know if they're just moving up a little bit higher in the water column, or maybe at that point in the winter, like they move out super deep. I don't know, but we never really mark them. We mark smaller pods of perch. And then we're getting bit by perch. You never get bit by smelt, but you know when you're getting bit by a perch.
Yeah. It's like Morse code on.
Yeah. Perfect. So I'm not. What do you think? What temperature do you think is kind of like that changeover? Because it definitely happens, but I don't know if it's like 45 degrees or closer to 40. It's somewhere about 45 degrees. I think is kind of that breaking point where like the transition of.
I think anywhere sub 50. Really?
Yeah, there's that pretty big change.
Yeah.
It's
Because as soon as it hits like 40, we're pretty much anywhere in the 40s. We're pretty much just fishing super deep.
straight up bottom contact
Yep.
on all of our bites, all of our fish.
Yep.
And there's definitely perch around.
Yeah.
Because I'll never forget, and I love the story, when he caught his PB 5-pound smallmouth last November.
Yeah.
And we were getting hammered by perch all day, and the water was 42 degrees.
Yep.
41, something like
40,
that.
It was low 40s.
Very low 40s. And again, we already caught a bunch of perch. So like, at that point, they're definitively mingling in the right depths in the same areas. And I saw him lift up his rod. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's
Mind you, we're
perch.
fishing in 50 feet of water.
Yeah.
45, 50 feet.
Yeah, you were either right. You were somewhere between 45 and 50. It's not an exaggeration. Like, that was the range we were targeting. And we were fishing isolated boulder piles. And he picks up. I can see it. He's like, I think it's a perch. Hook sets are free. All right, sets the hook. Oh.
that ain't moving. Whoops.
They mingle. So like, yeah, in the colder months, like it is hugely key. And there's that point where they make that transition. And it depends on how they're relating to bottom. Really, it's hard for me to elaborate on because I don't have enough experience like I do in so much other things that I can confidently at least give you that like 10,000 foot overview on. But it does happen. It does matter. There was something else I wanted to elaborate on when we're talking about like that kind of transition into cold water, but at the same time, like I don't want to get too far into it because like,
I mean, I feel like because like fall, they are munching. They are chomping down because they're feeding before the cold water comes, and then it just all of a sudden just slows down, and you got to really adapt to that from going from pretty much power fishing to fishing the slowest you've ever fished in your life, just to get a bite.
30 to 60 seconds, soaking baits.
Yeah,
and longer. Like that was the thing that like I definitely got better fishing slower. And it's something I've been working on hard the last few years. And we kept talking about that end of the year last year. Like he kept bringing up, he's like, dude, you've gotten a lot better fishing slower. I'm still trying to match his ability to just, you know what? I got all day on that one cast. I'll see you in 5 minutes.
I don't care. I got him all day.
And I'm getting there. And then like, now I'm confident letting the bait soak for 60 seconds. That's an eternity to me. But now it doesn't feel like it. Now it's like I've got confidence, like just trust in the process. Like the Bill Belichick school of thought, man, just trust in the process. It sounds wonky. It's way outside your comfort zone, but you're fishing a very narrow set of circumstances. This is what you got to do. Just trust it, and I promise it's going to pay off. And it does. When it gets really cold, now you're talking upper 30s to mid 30s. Now you're talking, and it's different. Lightweight, still really deep water, 2 to 3 minutes. That's not an exaggeration.
No, because we were down on Candlewood that time.
And we got our teeth kicked in.
Yeah.
I mean, there was 3, we all got one solid bite, but that was it. There was no numbers.
I gotta force something.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like we all got a quality bite.
Yeah, we all got.
You got the best bite, but then I had one that was close to 3, I think. Derek had a good one. I think
yours was just over 3, and Derek had one around 3 too.
Yeah, but then that was it. We only got.
Right.
Did one of us? I think you caught 2 actually, and I definitely know I only caught 1.
I don't know. I think I only got 1.
But then reaching out, like I am thinking like, oh yeah, dude, this is good. Like we just weren't in the right areas or whatever. But still fishing like 3/4 ounce weights and only like 30 to 60 seconds soaking. Talking to more people, they're like, no. 3/16 ounce, 2 to 3 minutes soaking that thing makes a huge difference. And that was repeated by multiple people. So like, it's weird like how much slower you're gonna go, and it just changes everything.
But the colder you go, the colder it gets, the slower you want to be.
And the lighter. At a certain point, like right now you're light, and then as it gets like towards that 50-degree mark, you want to go heavier to really get the bait down and keep it down. And at that point, you're still kind of like moving it a little bit, and it's getting a little colder. You stay heavy, but now you're slowing way down. And then when it gets really cold, you're gonna go really light and slow down even more.
I mean, those fish they will be buried in the mud.
Yeah,
they will literally go down into the mud and just down into it. They'll just nestle down in, and they ain't moving. And I mean, A lighter weight, I'm guessing it's just that they can actually see it come down instead of just going straight down. They miss it.
Bingo.
They don't even see it.
Because it's not like, if this is the bottom, those fish are, hang on, back here. They are smushed in when it's really that cold. They're not moving around, hovering around, versus when it's a little bit warmer, like 45, they're down, but they're just off the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're kind of looking around. So if something bombs by and they see it, they're still going to take their time getting over to it, but they're kind of like still in active searching mode, right? Versus when it's so cold, they're hunkered down. They're not spinning around to move. So if it doesn't fall somewhere relatively within their line of sight, forget it. At least that's my interpretation of why the lighter weights tend to work better.
It makes sense.
Yep. I love this thing. Get out of here, bug.
I know. I was messing with it the other day. I was just playing with it.
Jason, no big sexy this week. All right, that's enough for cold water stuff. Let's just open it, anything else. Like literally anything. We'll talk about whatever you guys want for tonight, because I just want to, I've said this so many times. I just want to push this to like talk about anything.
Yeah, we got 40 minutes. What do you guys want to know about us?
We don't have 40 minutes. We have as much time as you guys want.
You're right.
That's how I put it.
We have time.
Actually, think about this weekend. While I'm waiting for people to talk about the chat. So, I'm curious. What do you guys like to do when we're getting... So, the weather we got coming up this weekend, it's going to be cooler, like low 70s, and a pressure change. I'm assuming because it's essentially the remnants of a hurricane, it's low pressure. And it's gonna be overcast, it's gonna be low clouds, maybe it'll be high pressure.
My God.
But it's gonna be raining.
It's low pressure, we're gonna kill it.
What do you guys want to do? What do you guys like to do when you're doing that? Because I know what I like to do. Shallow water, largemouth.
Mm-hmm.
And you gotta get a variety of things we get to do at that point. It's great.
Yes.
Z-fish first. Wait, no, you're jumping the gun. Any experience with smallies on top water? In the past, yes. The last couple of years, no. I can't. I just got zero confidence in topwater bait right now, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because I got my teeth kicked in the last like 30 attempts I've tried to throw topwater. I just can't get them to bite it. I'm literally throwing the same stuff that guys that are killing it with. I don't get it. But when I was doing really good, torpedoes. Brett just said it. Shower blows. I heard him been killing it.
Shower blows are sweet.
Wrong shower blow.
Oh.
Who makes the pompadour? Jackal, the pompadour. It's like that walking wing bait, like that thing. I've got a couple of bites on now that I know are smallmouth. Actually, I caught a couple night fishing a couple weeks ago. It's good, in the right conditions, right time, like early morning when those like we were just talking about the other day, or earlier in the stream. We were fishing for those smallmouth the other day, and all the bait had moved up, and they were like 15 to 20-ish feet, and the bass were kind of at the top of that. You throw top over the top of that, there's a good chance you're going to get bit, unless you're me. Seth McNary, you guys throw sea rig. Okay, now you can.
Yes.
Dude, I have fished Carolina rig for at least 10 years now. I kind of stopped the last 3 or 4 years just because there's a bunch of other techniques I was throwing that I liked better. And then just straight Texas rig and a bait seemed to work fine. But I started getting back into it again last year a little bit, and again this year. And we just went up to Champlain, and I fished with John, the owner at Wicked Custom Rods. That's where I caught the bulk of my fish on. 1 ounce weight with like a 2.5 foot tag between weight and bait, and just a striking rage craw, the bigger one, the 3.5 inch, whatever it was. And actually, John was, remember that giant I dropped that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of the same deal. At Champlain, it hurts my soul. What's new? So yes, Carolina rig. I love it, man. Like it, dude. Smallmouth, especially, like just throw a little craw or like a 4 or 5 inch lizard, you can kill it fishing a Carolina rig for like right now for smallmouth. It's killer. It's so good.
Oh man,
David told love frogging. I used to. It's another thing. Just top water in general as a whole. Like I
haven't really thrown it much either lately. I used to. Kind of a lot. And I just kind of stopped. I don't know why.
The frog?
Poppers.
Yeah, dude. Popper.
I don't know. It's a cool bite. I just like jig bite way more.
It's hard to get away from it.
It is.
Jason said Twitch topwater's been working for me like a cotton cordell.
Cotton Cordell, isn't that one of those giant saltwater topwaters?
Well, now I'm curious. Brett, shower blows. 4-pounder winter squam and a swim bait
Shower
Monday.
blows.
Ooh, or a shower blow on Monday. Nice, dude. That's awesome. That's a tank. It's crazy, like, how many bigger smallmouth are starting to show up in the lakes region again lately, which makes me really happy, especially Winnie. There's a couple of guys that won with a 5.1 something smallie, or maybe it was a 5.0 something. I know it was a 5-pounder. A 4.7 something or 4.6, right around there, and then like a lower 4-pound smallmouth, and they had like another 5-pound largemouth in their bag. Like, dude, they killed it. It just makes me happy to hear that there's more big smallmouth showing up from those places that kind of started to fall. Well, Winnisquam's always kind of kicked out a big smallie here and there, but Winnie for the last few years was like not so much. You know, just watching all the tournament results that I could see. It was kind of like even just seeing it 1 4-pound smallmouth. It didn't really happen that often. Brian said he's going to striper fishing. Hurricanes, small, and whitewater make them hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Should we change our plans for Sunday?
Where's
Dennis? Dennis, you owe us a chartered trip.
I ain't going out on a boat in the ocean in a hurricane.
Why not?
Hell no.
Come on.
You seen The Perfect Storm?
Yeah.
I ain't swimming back in that.
Did you see how many fish they caught?
All right.
I'll text him later. Jason, is like a 4-inch with a slightly larger rear hook to have it sit at an angle. Oh, interesting. All right, so let's talk about this weekend with this storm surge. We're gonna go out. It's gonna be probably moderately. Well, let me check the forecast. It's
gonna be
well, it's Thursday. It should be fine. Like, this should be pretty damn accurate. Is what we're gonna get. Yeah, that town will be fine. That's good enough. Sunday. 73.
Okay.
Mostly cloudy with a chance of showers.
Okay.
Highs in lower 70s. Chance of rain 40%. It says nothing about wind yet. My guess is it will be moderate, not significant. It's definitely going to be overcast. And it's going to be on the heels of all this rain we're getting dumped on us
Sounds
today.
like a good spinnerbait day, buddy. Spinnerbait bite
yeah.
day. Spinner. Throw a spinnerbait.
You know what I want to get? I want to get some of those stealth blade chatterbaits. Did you see the video comparison? And this goes out to you, chat, too. Did you see the video comparison Wired to Fish did of the jackhammer literally side by side with the stealth blade?
Mm-mm.
I want the stealth blade for summer fishing.
Okay.
So jackhammer, one of the things that I had always said, and I said it again last week, like, what are the 3 big reasons why we like the jackhammer in colder water?
Because in colder water. Because you can slow roll it. It's like super slow, and it still chatters.
Yep.
That is right. Yeah, chatters. Another reason? Because of red.
Yeah, the red was killer. Just being able to get it started right off the bat too.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of that is because of how well it vibrates, even at really like slow speeds. They kind of go hand in hand. And it hunts at a slower speed. Like it's erratic on its retrieve. The stealth blade, that polycarbonate blade, they did it side by side. It's a much tighter wiggle. Like, it was like,
Really?
that's how the two of them look side by side. It was huge difference. This is a tighter, almost like clackier noise on the polycarbonate, and the bait didn't wiggle as much. Whereas on the jackhammer, like, it was violent how much it was rocking, and the whole, like, the skirt and the bait and everything were like vibrating violently. Like, there was a ton of action. Whereas on the polycarbonate, on the stealth, it was
Who designed that?
Evergreen. It's still Z-Man. Oh, who,
No,
the pro?
Ben Height.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Is it Ben Height?
Brett Height.
Brett Height.
I know he has like the Brett Bluegill. That's his custom, his signature series color.
Yeah.
It's like that green and purple.
Yep.
But it's, I feel like because it's got that tighter action and that like tighter pitch to it, I feel like that's gonna be, it should be way better right now when things are really warm.
Probably.
Like to the point where I'm gonna stop somewhere local probably tomorrow or Saturday because I gotta go up Lakes Region anyway to go see family, and I'm gonna stop and get some for Sunday because I think it's gonna kill it.
Joe has a bunch of them.
I don't have time to get over there.
Yeah.
Damn shame. T Foles, I will do that. Check out Northeast Weather Alert page on Facebook. Good call. Thank you. Dan Trainer, chatters early. Absolutely. Dude, chatterbait early in the year just kills
It
it.
just works.
The biggest thing is its ability to do what it does at really slow retrieve rates is killer. And doubly so when you throw it on really light braid, like 20-pound braid, I think is what I'm going to do next year. I was throwing it on 30-pound this year. That still worked. But just having that zero stretch, the ability to start it, I mean, literally immediately, and still get that feedback when crawling it on a 6-3-1, like that was just money for me for the second year in a row.
Yep.
That thing killed it.
Yeah, because you caught that. What the hell was that?
6 pound, 2 ounce?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't on a was that a jackhammer?
Yeah.
It was?
Yeah. Although, oddly enough, that was black and blue, not
Yeah,
the fire craw.
That's weird.
Reminder, it's not too early to get your fire cross for this spring. I know I got to get some.
Jeez. They're probably still sold out.
Jason, what? Jason, can we elaborate on this, please? You still have yet to catch one on chatterbait. What are you doing with it?
How?
Where are you fishing it?
On land? Like, what are you doing? In the trees?
Oh, Jason, how'd you do on your short vacation there too, man? I didn't get to see any results from how you did.
Where'd he go?
Mark.
What?
Buddy.
What?
You two are killing me. Jackhammer is love. Jackhammer is life.
Right before sunset. Throw the jackhammer.
Yeah, it's been in the warmer weather.
Mm-hmm.
What we were doing really well is those transitional areas, both from like deeper to shallower water, especially if there's vegetation around, and then like the really shallow water when you get one of those like really warm days where it pulls all the fish way up. Being around vegetation was always key for every single bite I got, and I'm still talking like 40-degree water. Well, I mean, in the spring, it warms up pretty fast. So, like, even low 40s, like right around 40 to 43, due to just, like, right on the friggin' hairy edge of those transitions. Like, literally at the breaking point from shallow to deep, especially if you got vegetation, that has been my most prolific areas for that damn bait.
Mm-hmm.
It just calls them up. I don't get it. Jason said, anywhere I fish a spinnerbait. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you're just have always gotten them on a spinnerbait day, not a chatterbait, because it's either one or the other. They're either going to hit a spinnerbait or they're going to hit a chatterbait. They usually don't hit both.
No, this spring was one of only 2 days where I've caught a fish on both baits.
Yeah.
And I was fishing with John.
Well, actually, I've done it before, but they were completely different times of the day, so.
Mine were, oddly enough, were only like an hour apart, and it was on the same colors. It was that fire craw jackhammer, and then it was a fire craw spinnerbait from Rocky Ledge Tackle with gold blades on it. Jason, trips were good. Never made it to the lakes region, but still had 100 plus fish for the 4 days. Hell yeah, man, that's awesome.
Nice.
Sir Altitude, a friend caught a decent 4 in a chatterbait in Kingston this morning. Hell yeah, that's
I
good.
snagged them on everything, trying to slow.
Oh yeah, bank fishing's tough.
Oh. Yeah.
I feel like to get the most effective use out of that, you probably got to cast at like a 45-degree angle from your spot in the bank. That gives you the kind of the best bang for your buck. Like, you're getting out far enough to get close to those transition spots, you know, pending you have a good enough shore spot that you can reach that transition from deep to shallow. But you'll maximize or find that happy medium to get the most time working right over the top of that. Like, obviously, ideally, you want to be parallel to it, right? But you can't do that. You cast straight out. Yeah, you can get well past it, but it's going to go right through it. So 45-degree angle, best of both worlds, depending on how far out it is. Hey, Snatchy Panda. Dude, I haven't seen you in a little bit. Thank you for jumping in. I can't think. Caught 45 fish on Kingston Monday. Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome.
Kingston. Where is Kingston? Have I been there? I think I
No.
went ice fishing there.
Oh, you may have. Yeah.
With Amy?
Yep. I was literally going to say that because it's, yeah.
I don't know if that's the same place, but I think it is.
If it's not the same place,
There's not
it's the
a-
same area.
I don't think there's a boat launch there. It's a beach. I don't think that there's no boat launch, she said. I don't think.
Oh.
Does Kingston have a boat launch?
Must. How else would Jason get in there?
Shorefish? I don't know.
He's not got a swordfish.
I
He's
know.
got a bass boat.
I know.
All right, talk to me, people. What are your plans for this weekend? And how are you going to go about tackling all that water with all this influx of water for those that are like in the hurricane impacted area? Well, the remnants of the hurricane. Because I know for us, water level's going up. So we're going up.
Country Pond, yeah, that might be it. I don't know.
Oh, it could be it.
Could be. There's a church next to it. That's all I know.
It's probably it.
Stay away from that.
Maybe this will be a short night. I don't know, man. I can't really think of anything else I want to elaborate on. I'm kind of hoping chat was going to pop in here with a lot more questions about, well, just anything in general.
Where are your honey holes?
GPS coordinates. Where are your rock piles in 30 to 40 feet of water, please? We need to know.
That's where you want to be this before ice in.
Holy crap, Mark! You have 5 inches of rain already from this. I know in southern New Hampshire, where we are,
about up to 4 inches here.
Yeah. At one point during the stream, I'm positive I heard it like raining buckets out there.
I'm deaf, so
so I don't
like
know.
right now.
I can't tell. I get the fan over here.
Sounds like it's pouring out there.
Mark's hoping to get out in the kayak, dude. I hope you do too. Dress appropriately for it, you'd be good. Oh, shaky head fishing. Educate us. Ooh. Yeah, Z-fish. I'll be grass fishing rather than smallmouth fishing rock. Yeah, dude. Well, I go back and forth. I guess depending on the wind, like we could go out and probably actually do pretty good for smallmouth right now. It's just going to give them a chance to get fired up. You know, the lack of light, they're not going to be able to see things as well, especially with the pouring rain. I don't know. I've had weird luck when it comes to rain.
I'll go for largies.
I agree.
I'm sorry.
No, it's nothing to be sorry
I know you want to go for Smallies, but
I do and I don't because, man, all I can think about is how damn good it is in Vermont. We can't go there this weekend. I got too much stuff to do.
It's too far.
But largemouth, we've got 2 great spots to choose from. But we'll probably go to the good one. Bring Chris. No GoPros. It's going to rain anyway, so I'm not going to set him up.
Yeah, I'll text him, see if he wants to go.
Hell yeah. All right, so shaky head fishing. Yeah. Educate you. What would you like to know about shaky head fishing? I got to tell you, I do better with lighter weights and bigger worms. Like a 6-inch finesse worm on a 3/16 ounce shaky head has been absolutely killer for me. And I can make that work. You
killed it earlier this year on that.
That's supposed to be the next video.
Is it?
The one where I caught like 3 in a row off that one friggin' rock.
This fucking guy.
Dude, I cast in and I already caught 2, right? And the second one, I was like, I tried to be really quiet and I look over my shoulder and he's just he was on his hips looking at me and I doubled over laughing. So in my head, like I'm like, all right, I'm gonna cast out. If I catch another one, I gotta play this like real subtle so he doesn't
look. Is that the day
look.
with John?
Yep.
Okay.
So I want to try and get this in the boat without him noticing. So bombed it out. I kept the rod tip low on purpose. And I'm just kind of looking around and I felt the tick. And I didn't even look or anything. I did nothing. I just started reeling into it.
I watched the whole thing.
And I just started pushing him over here and I'm like, look around. And I see him over there. He's just staring at me. I really almost fell in the boat laughing that hard.
That was a fun day. That was a really fun day. The 3 of us had a great time.
Yep. So he's expanding on it. Situations mostly instead of throwing a drop shot or a Ned. If they're really holding up in rocks, like you get that time of the year on either side of the spawn where like for whatever reason they just love being in the rocks. I don't know why shaky head does better, but it does. I mean, having a ball head style jig works better anyway, coming around through those rocks. And just that slightly bigger profile. I don't know what it is that they're keying in on that a shaky head with a 5 to 6 inch finesse worm really replicates, or it's just close enough to it. But man, like that is like the thing. Immediate pre-spawn and immediate post-spawn, like hands down, the best thing you'd be throwing. It doesn't catch giants to me that often. Like I think I've only caught 2 fish.
I haven't really caught a big fish on shaky head.
I know the biggest I caught was a 4 1/4.
It's a big fish on a shaky head.
And that was like 8 years ago. Yeah, that was a while ago. Aside from that, man, I think I've caught maybe no one that's close to 4, a couple of 3s, but like Shaky head for me is a numbers thing. Like if you just want to go out and crack them, like right around the spawn on either side of it, that's just the way to go.
And you can throw shaky head deep for smallies too.
Yes, you can.
I've done it. I've caught, I think the deepest, I mean, probably 30, 35 feet. Up at, name of that place.
Figured it.
On the way to the my secret spot. You pass it right on the road.
I don't remember.
The place my mom told us. The place right before.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I'm not gonna say it though.
Caught him deep there on that, which I thought was pretty cool. I never thought I'd ever do that.
There's a couple of different schools of thought for shaky head, and like almost everybody fishes a finesse worm on a light duty shaky head ball head style, right? That works killer, very universal. You can go for smallmouth, shaky head, slightly heavier weight, smaller hook, shorter, broader profile bait. I'm not going to say anything more than that. Change it up. And like that for smallmouth is much more universal throughout the season. Like pretty much immediate pre-spawn through till they get to like that deep summer pattern like we're in right now where there's a lot more fish suspended. Shaky head can be killer for a small profile thing that like I've seen it firsthand. I haven't done enough myself, but it's crazy how good that can be with like a 3-inch bait, something short, but like broad. So think of baits in that kind of realm and it's killer. It's great. Mm-hmm. I had to back up a little bit. David said, going kettle pond fishing frogs, D-bombs, 10-inch worms. Dude, no joke. That's probably what we'll be doing. Yeah. We'll be on like an 80-acre kettle pond on Sunday and going just swinging for the fences for giants. Mm-hmm. I'm going to throw the DEFCON.
I'm going to throw that.
No.
Oh, not yours, but mine. And a jig, of course.
This is getting hammered. Dude, especially where we're going to go with the veggies.
Freaking smoked.
The plus side to a bait like this.
If I get a hurricane PB, I'm jumping in the water.
You heard it here, folks. I'm gonna hold it to him.
I'll get it on video.
Z-Fish, summer smallmouth setups, mainly rod and line type size. You first. I know exactly my answer.
Sorry, what?
Z-Fish said summer smallmouth setups, mainly rod and line type size.
Summer smallmouth setup. What is my jig rod? Drop shot.
It's that
it's a
shaky head model from Lubes.
7.2 medium
moderate fast,
I believe.
Yep. Well, I'll look it up while you're talking about it because you can still elaborate on like the line and.
I usually run around 10 to 15 pound braid to an 8-pound leader for drop shot. And a hook. Depends on where we are, but usually a 1 to 2 hook works really well. I wouldn't go any bigger than that unless you're going for largies and you're going to be using heavier line like a power shot. And depending on how deep you are, the lightest it usually goes about a quarter ounce. If we're going anywhere from like 30 to 40 feet, throw 3/8. Any deeper than that, it's usually half. And with current, it could be up to an ounce, depending on how hard the current's pulling.
This is true. I wholeheartedly agree with everything. And I believe we were right. It's 7-foot medium. Oh, extra fast, not moderate fast. We're on the wrong side.
Extra fast, that's what it was.
Yep. Rated 1/8 to 3/8 ounces. And I'd say it's pretty accurate for that line. The next series up, the Team Loose Custom Pro Speed Sticks, those tend to run a little bit on the lighter side. So if it says medium heavy, it's more like between a medium and a medium heavy. But those black rods, like the matte black rods, they're $150 series rods. Those are pretty accurate.
And they're sick.
Yep.
They're nice.
Brett, sounds goofy, but a Mag 2 and a shaky head has been killing it for me lately. I wholeheartedly agree with that.
It's a Mag 2.
Caution, idiots ahead. Have you ever fished a New One Reservoir? Yeah, dude, that's like not far from our house.
That's literally 8 minutes from here.
We go ice fishing there, time from here to there. It's because it's easy to get to. Like super, you know where it is. It's right up the side of the road, easy walk. I can take my kids out there. Like it's a great spot.
I've fished that place for years. and I've got bit by more ticks there. They're
I think I fished there 20 years ago now, which is starting to date myself.
Yeah.
18 to 20 years ago, because I went there with Kimball.
oh yeah,
Because he was right around the corner. We went there, but when they used to have the fence around it, and there was like an opening that wide, and he had one of those 4 foot by 8 foot plastic boats, and walk up and and go through the fence and dump it in with a trolling motor. We killed it that one day we went there too. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Killed it a long time ago. There's the
Lot of
quality of
pressure
the
now.
fish in there. Just there's everybody and their grandparents go fishing and swimming there because they took the fence down. So now everybody from Wilton North goes swimming there.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's kind of gross now.
Mark, gonna try a pond in the hood. Heard some monsters hiding in it. There's a deep hole in the middle. Just not too fond of leaving my car and trailer.
You'll be fine. I fished the Charles River. You'll be all right.
Texas rig, a worm. An 8-inch worm. Either green pumpkin or black, depending upon water clarity, with a 1/8 ounce bullet weight. Or still 1/8 ounce bullet weight with a 6-inch Senko. And just leave it at that. Or expanding on that, if you have them, a really light nail weight in that Senko as well. Although that I would specifically say would be better for fishing like thick veggies. But if there's any vegetation just at the bottom, dude, T-rig a giant worm and thank me later. I swear to God, that's my most prolific bait for deep water largemouth when they're in the veggies. David, shaky head fishing reminds me when I was a kid throwing the old slider worm. Slider worm equals granddad of Ned and shaky head. Oh yeah, dude. Bob is fishing Umbagog this weekend. Hopefully we'll be far enough north to hide from Henry. Dude, that place should be on fire in that regardless. Are you going up there like on your own with a guide?
How far is that from here? It's like 3 hours, isn't it?
3.5.
Oh,
Because there's no direct route. Like to get from my house to North Conway is a 2 to 2.5 hour ride, depending on what you hear for traffic. And then from there, it's another hour to hour and a half. Damn. To Umbagog. It is a haul because you go up and over and up and over and up and over and up and then over one more time. It sucks. It's just a miserable ride to get out there.
Pats are winning.
Yeah, preseason. Don't trust Belichick in anything he does in the preseason. Shane, finally caught your boy's lie. Oh, hey Shane, that's my new coworker.
Really?
Yeah, really funny story. It was like, Shane, what was it, like 2 weeks after you started? Or like a week and a half. And I came in one day and he was like, Sean, I gotta tell you, I thought I recognized you, and I kept saying to the guys here, like, I think I recognize him. I didn't realize it was you from the channel, man. And I had to laugh. I was like, yeah, I look really different in like business attire versus current attire with a flat brim hat. It takes like 10 years off my slightly balding head.
I feel you.
Yeah. Ever fished Webster Lake and Mass Good Winter Lake? No. Everything we fished has been the Cape. Have we fished anything north of the canal? Yeah, 2 different ponds, maybe 3. There's the very first one we went to that was like 4 feet deep the whole way through, and we had a good day fishing the lipless.
Billington Sea.
And that Billington Sea south of the canal.
Is it?
No. That
Bear
one's
Hill?
north of it too, I think.
Bear Hill.
That's not the Cape though.
Oh,
But what would you consider the Cape? Like
The
immediately
Cape?
around the canal or
south
below
of Boston.
I always envisioned everything on the Cape was like the arm and out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So there's a
That's what I
couple of
think.
places that. Yeah, if we're talking the Cape, we fished like 6 different ponds now below the canal. But at the canal, just north of it, I think we only fished 3, maybe 4 different ponds.
So we did
Don't tell them.
this one with the Dick Cove.
Yeah, that one. That was the first one, super
Yeah.
shallow one.
Mhm.
Yep. We just did the new one this year with Steve.
Mm-hmm.
We went back and Sean joined us.
Yep. That was
Oh,
the
and then
David
Billington.
John.
Yeah.
John and Sean.
Yep. Billington is north of it. So that's up by like Plymouth, I think.
So yeah, 3.
3. Yeah, everything else, the other 4 or 5, whatever it is we fish, have all been south of the canal. But we haven't gone way out in the arm yet. There's a couple of ponds out there that I'm like, I really want to fish, but they're really well known by all the guys that like really know what they're doing that time of the year, so they get hammered pretty hard.
Ooh. Just so you know,
Mm-hmm.
Paul's girlfriend,
Uh-huh.
her parents own a house at the very tip of the Cape.
That's a hike. But,
Stripers.
oh,
Jaints. And
All
sharks.
right, we can make that work.
And brown sharks.
Shark.
Whatever they're called. Sandbar sharks. Something like that.
Jay, do they have baby wheels out there?
They do, actually. They do.
We gotta call the aquarium or something. Bob, myself and my cousin is a camp up there. Nice, dude. That'll be fun, Bob. Hopefully you guys hammer him. Hey, Sam. Glad you could join us, dude. And Jack. Thanks, buddy. Wait, I gotta back up. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, well, that's kind of Sharon, Zfish 01. Sharon talked about it a lot when you guys had him on. That's like his stomping grounds out there. So, yeah, he's fished that a lot. Like, kind of that general area of the state, we've never fished. Because anything that like could be good or on fire right there, at the same time, because we're not that far as the crow flies from that, like north to south. So like all of our go-to honey holes are on fire at the same time. Mm-hmm. And as our honey holes slow down, though, like they're literally on like the same time frame. It's just, it's not far enough north to south or elevation change wise to make a difference. So we ended up just going straight to the Cape. Shield Q. Webster Lake can be tough, but big fish do come out of there. Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that. Kevin, I fished Long Pond, Freetown, Mass. I had good luck there in cold water this year. Which one? There's like 4 long ponds down there. It's like when someone asked me like about Rocky Pond or Pleasant Pond or Half Moon Pond.
Yeah.
Or Sunset Pond here in
Silver
Hampshire.
Lake.
There's literally 6 of each one of those. Like, which, you gotta be more specific. Sir Altitude, you need to retract that comment because that is not how you spell my name, sir.
Sean.
No, mine's Steen. Anyway, are you still running one Lowrance graph? Did you download a new Lowrance app and sync with your device? No and no. I have 2 Lowrance graphs and a Humminbird. So at the wheel, I have a 9-inch Lowrance, HDS 9 Gen 3. With
see yourself? Man, down by the river.
Down by the river.
On the right track.
And then on the front of the boat, I have an HDS 7 Gen 3. So those two are interlinked. I have the one map card. They share. So if I hit boop on the front, it goes beep on the back. And then I have a Helix 9, a Humminbird Helix 9 on the front that is dedicated just to my Mega 360. La Rance. Yes, that.
Yeah, but it's lower than me on the deck, so it's low.
But no, I haven't used the Lowrance app to sync with devices. I don't know if I really want to.
Why not?
I don't know. I'm lazy. Caution idiots ahead. Yeah, New Orleans Reservoir used to be quiet and there used to be no garbage when there used to be the fence and swimming wasn't allowed. Yeah, that's very true. I'm surprised they even opened it to swimming.
There's still a lot of garbage there.
Yeah, when you go there, it's garbage. Sorry.
Ha! Ha! I have the dad jokes now.
See, I'm wearing off on you. Jack, had a rough turnaround in Muskoma this past Saturday. No one broke 10 pounds. Dude, Muskoma sucks. Pave it. There's a lot of guys that say that about every bad tournament they have anywhere. Pave it.
Yeah, Muskoma. I've heard it. Place has been garbage for years.
I don't know if it's just too much pressure or it's just really like that garbage, but I think it's kind of a problem with a lot of like the more common mid-sized lakes like that have a ton of tournaments. It's probably just too much pressure, man.
Yeah, because it's not even a mid-size. It's just a small lake. It's not even that big. It's what, 2, 3? Nah, it's probably 500 acres. Maybe 6. It's actually, okay, it's a mid-sized lake.
It's a couple hundred acres. Which is kind of like, that is mid-size. Standard mid-size for New Hampshire.
You're right. I was wrong.
Kevin, have you fished the lake at the Cape in the winter with all the fans on the lake? Don't want to say the name. Yes. I know we passed, like, right where we get off the highway, there's a bunch of fans. I know which one you're talking about. Is it... I can't even say that because that'd be a dead giveaway. Is it technically 2 lakes in one? It's the spot I dropped my damn phone at. You didn't fish there.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah. And then there's... So... There's the place with all the zzz that goes by over our heads, and we fished the place that is the same name as our buddy there that builds rods. That we got our butts kicked at, but we went back in that shallow pocket, right? We saw those bass everywhere. We can catch them. We saw the couple of pike or big pickerel swimming together.
Nothing like when I got hit by a pickerel on the glide.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very first time I fished the glide, and then. Yeah. And then the spot I lost my phone at is like literally right there next to it.
Okay. Oh. Yeah.
It's two lake names in one.
Yes. Like the top half is a different name than the bottom.
Correct.
Because there's a big like peninsula island thing in the middle, right?
Oh,
I know Google Maps.
Small Dirty Lake Shallow. I fished two like that, so do people call it a toilet? Is that the one that I'm thinking of? We went there this spring.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Freaking first place we go to this. No, where was the first place we went this spring? Was that down in Mass?
Sorry with an S.
Yeah. I think that's the spot he's talking about. Small Dirty Shallow Lake. Yeah. We went there first trip this year.
Yeah, that was a. Okay.
No, that was a different pond. You're right. Was that the first one? Because I thought
no, that couldn't have been the first.
No,
one.
I think the very first trip of the year, because we met up with Goodman, and his buddy was out there along with 8 other damn boats because there's a freaking tournament there. Yeah.
That was a tournament?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was a 6-boat tourney that was going on that day. Really small launch.
Tiny.
So,
I know what you're talking about.
But then we went to the bigger lake where John and Sean came down to meet us.
Right.
They both start with an S.
Yeah.
One is like S toilet, and then the other one was I want to talk to find the moon.
Yeah.
Like Dave Chappelle. He had sex with my mama.
That was the name of that place? I thought it was something different.
Yeah, no, that was it. Pop culture references for you people. You're welcome.
That's funny.
Mascoma gets fished more with tourneys these days because every other big lake objects to tourneys. It's a great lake for multi-species, though. Well, that's good to know. All right. My knee's starting to hurt.
Yeah.
What else you got, chat? Maybe this is kind of a short night. I don't know. Shh. Don't say it, Sir Altitude. It actually, I don't even think that's the one he's talking about. It's another S name lake. Because that place isn't even on the Cape. It's north of it. And honestly, it wasn't even worthwhile going there. No, we
it wasn't.
We went twice.
No. We went twice?
We did.
We went back the next weekend, didn't we?
Yeah, because I caught that 5 when we were like, this place is awesome. And then we went back, like, this place sucks.
And then I lost a giant there.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that one hurt. That was bad. That was big. That was real big.
It was really big.
I think that was over 5 easily.
We had a couple of those this year. It's okay, buddy.
Way off.
Jack, I haven't had a very good season this year when it comes to size. I haven't been on bow much because I hate all the boat traffic. I usually try to get out early. Yeah, dude, that whole area is kind of that's difficult. Oh, nice, Kevin. Labor Day weekend, head to the big lake in Princeton, Maine. Great small lake. Nice, dude. That'll be fun. Probably hammer him.
Great small lake.
All right, so I know our kind of looking ahead, I need to figure out the whole phone call setup on this because for those that are interested, we're going to have Steve Estes, the owner of Bass Fishing Electronics based out of Auburn, New Hampshire. We're going to have him on. We're going to talk graphs. If I can, I'd like to actually just go to a shop and just stream from my phone.
That'd be
so
sweet.
Obviously this all goes away. The audio quality won't be quite as good because it'll be relying on my phone. But he said cell service and Wi-Fi out there is so
at his house. Is that where I picked up my trolling motor?
Yep.
Yeah, in Auburn, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
There isn't much service out there.
So I'm gonna have to try and figure out a way for him to call in, and we're gonna talk a lot, both tournaments, a little bit, because the guy's been absolutely on fire. He won like a 200 boat tournament for MLF Big Bass Series, the Big Five, I forget. It's a 3-day tournament on Champlain, took first place, and then the next weekend he went and fished another big tournament, and he took second place or third. I forget.
I think it was third.
It was third. And then it was the Champlain Bass Series that he took third on. And then, no, he took third on a different tournament series.
He's killing it.
The Champlain Bass Series, there was another one he won. And then he just won another of the Champlain Bass Series again this past weekend. Or maybe it was like really close to win. And I know this weekend he won. But the guy is an electronics guru. That's the big thing. That's really why we want to have him on. That's been an often requested topic for us to cover. But it's something that I do not have anywhere near enough knowledge and experience to talk about, especially across multiple brands. Like, I barely even can scratch the surface on knowledge for what I have on low rants. And that's, I've got 2 graphs on my boat, and I've got 1 Humminbird Helix. But I just use that for Mega 360, so I barely touch the damn thing. So to have him in, like, the guy's phenomenal. The reason why he has earned my business in 2018, right before I bought my Skeeter, I knew I was like, I'm buying all new graphs for this. And he was just kind of getting his business started. He'd already had a couple of guys talk about him on Bass Boat Central on the forums. So I messaged him on there, and he's like, dude, call me. I'll talk about whatever you want. And I was on the phone with him for 2 hours. I had no idea what I was going to buy, or if I was going to buy even anything at that point. I just knew at some point I wanted to. No guarantee I was buying anything. The guy still stayed on the phone with me for 2 hours and broke down like that 1,000 foot overview of the pros and cons of low rants versus Humminbird. And then from there, I keyed in on low rants, and then he went into like a deep dive at like the ground level on the pros and cons of the different series at the time, because they didn't have the HDS Live units, but the carbons, and like price difference, and he had like used grass and stuff. Like, absolutely insane how much effort that guy gave me, and there's no guarantee I was going to spend anything. Literally everything from my boat electronics wise, I've bought through him ever since. That dude has earned my business for life, because he still is an incredibly valuable resource. Lawrence Ghost I just bought that through him. So we're going to have him on hopefully next week. That's the plan. As long as I can get the whole call issue sorted out. Worst comes to worst, I'll do it the same way we did with Sharon, where we'll set up, the snowball mic right here, the round one.
Yeah.
And we'll just have this, his call volume come through the TV, because that worked. It wasn't perfect, but it's a workaround. But fingers crossed I get the actual proper setup this time. We'll go from there. Mm-hmm. Ooh, I actually have an extra pair of headphones I can bring from work tomorrow. They're actually really nice Bose headphones. Like, they're like really nice.
Wow. Ooh.
I got the hookup from work, because they were like, everybody needs headsets, and they sent these like on the ear, like 1990s.
Oh, horrible.
Like, and then it like hooks around your head over here. $400. I'm like, dude, I guarantee you I can find something better. 20 minutes later, I'm like, boom, $300 Bose. It works on your computer and on the phone, and they're noise canceling. And they're like, sweet, they bought 20 pairs.
Jesus.
It's like, pays to know what you're doing. So anyway, that's the plan for next week. Beyond that, I don't know, man. I just want to kind of continue to wing it and get the chat involved more often. I don't have to keep bringing topics to you guys every week. I want you guys to bring us topics so we can elaborate on it and just spitball. That's the plan moving forward.
Yep.
What else we got? What else we miss you?
Damn, I was way off.
T-Falls, Green Eye's gonna miss you. Kotu, here we go. How do you guys adjust techniques after a weed kill? Don't go there.
Yeah, just literally don't go.
You will hate your life. It sucks.
Those fish are trying to get away from that water.
My theory, I've never read into it. I've never even bothered to look into it. I just know the fishing always sucked, because there's a couple of ponds near me when I had a John boat that I couldn't catch fish to save my life. And then I just finally gave it some thought. My theory is when they do the weed kill, it just kills off everything, and it kind of breaks down. And that process of everything breaking down changes the oxygen concentration in that area just enough that the fish aren't happy there, and they're gone. They disperse. And it changes the way they react in the lake. That's my theory. I have no idea if I'm talking on my ass or if that's accurate. Doesn't matter. If there's weed kill, get the hell out, man. You will not have a fun time.
No, there's chemicals going in that water, and the fish don't like chemicals.
No.
So they're not going to stick around. They're either going to way deep and they're not going to move until everything clears out, or they're literally just going to move out of that water.
Yep. Unless it's a big body of water, then again, just get the hell away from it and see if you can, like I just saw, David made a really good point. Look for any green weeds left. If you can find some, like bigger body of water, then go for it. But if it's small, I literally would not even bother. Mr. Altitude. Yeah, Steve is super knowledgeable. Honestly, more knowledgeable than employees for Lawrence. Dude, that's his deal. Like, that's pretty sure it's just a hobby that he started out with. Like, that's what he enjoyed doing, and it expanded into this thing, kind of like us with the freaking YouTube channel here, man. Like, I enjoyed talking to people and helping them, and here we are now. People come show us, watch us every freaking week.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but it works. Jason, I'll be getting my next set of graphs through Mr. Estes. Dude, yeah, the guy's awesome. His prices are incredible. He's as good, if not better, than the vast majority of other vendors as far as availability goes, but what's not available, that's out of his control. Literally everybody, everywhere, and everything, every industry is impacted since COVID started, and it's continuing on. for just getting anything. It's everything, man. It's a labor shortage, it's a material shortage, it's shipping issues. Like, it's the whole freaking 9 yards. It's ridiculous. Oh, Kotu, you can't pick where the tourney is, though. Yeah, that's a good point. Is that what you had said? Sorry. Oh, yeah, I missed that. I'm sorry, dude. Got a kayak tourney, and they're treating it tomorrow.
Damn. I wouldn't even bother. Save your money for the next tournament, honestly.
Dude, I hate to say it, but that's what I would do.
It's just going to be miserable.
It will. It's going to be difficult. It's going to...
You might catch a fish. That might be the only one you get.
Right. I don't know how big that place is. If it's not that big and they're treating multiple areas, like, dude, it's going to mess them up pretty hard. It takes a while for that adjustment to happen.
That place in Nashville last year.
Oh,
and Tim Doobie came down and was like, they just did a weed kill here. And we're just like,
he's like, dude, you need to just go. We're like, all right.
Yeah.
No, we were dumb, though. We were like, well, we'll try. We're here. The boat was already in the water. We tried for half an hour. Yeah, no, he was right. We're out.
Yeah. Horrible. And
Mass.
that pond kicks out fish too. Like that whole fishery area that kicks out big fish and a lot of them.
It's crazy.
And we couldn't get a bite.
Which is stupid that they even bother to do the weed kill thing. It's so small. So friggin' small.
People don't swim in there. They don't. No one does anything there.
The town has plenty of money. That's a perfect candidate for paying the scuba divers to go in and just suck all that crap out. Like, literally vacuum everything out and just be done.
I wouldn't scuba dive in there.
Nope. add it to the cost for a whole new wetsuit. It'd be great.
Right, true.
Mass Big Baits. Pond and Living in Mass used to be a lot of guys' honey holes. Dude, I know caught an 8-pound, 13-ounce bass 6 years ago. Start treating it. This place sucks so bad now. Yeah, dude, this...
Was it the fish kill or a lot of dudes that it's a honey hole?
So
overfishing it.
That's actually an excellent point that I want to elaborate on really quick. But it's becoming more common for a lot of these towns to just start dumping chemicals in the lakes to kill weeds. I don't know why, other than it's cheap and they think it's effective, but it's stupid. Like, people want clean lakes to swim in, right?
It doesn't kill the roots.
And it makes it dirtier. The vegetation filters the water and makes it clearer. So by removing it, you're making the water grosser in the end. And then you get these bacteria blooms or algae blooms or whatever at the end of the year as a result of all this shit. Everything. Like, I don't understand, man. It's so ass backwards. But people only see the short-term results. Oh, look at how clear it is. All the weeds. This is great.
Yeah, this is great. And then there's no life in it.
Right. Freaking joke.
They're not the ones that have to be on the water, that are on the water every weekend, a couple times a week, a few times a month, like us.
Right.
And they don't see the results. They just do it once. Oh, weeds are gone. Sweet. And now what? There's nothing left for anything else.
Right. So, expanding on that, Mass Big Baits, about how the vegetation, they started treating it and the place sucks, right? I have to generalize this because I do not want to step on anybody's toes and I don't want to give away any information. There's been a couple of areas in New Hampshire that this year has been killing it for quality. Whereas the last few years, it's been so-so for smallmouth and on the upswing for largemouth, but especially this year, like, holy crap. The amount of big fish coming out of there on a pretty consistent basis. And is in this region in general, like even other lakes, like it's kind of mind-boggling. So I know a guy, wicked good tournament angler. Guy, he's a hammer. And so is his tournament partner. And I was thinking about it this morning. Something dawned upon me, and I was like, you know what? I want to ask, because I know he was a freaking incredible tournament angler before they got Active Target. And I know the older of the two has it, and then I knew the younger of the two had either just gotten it or was getting it. I forget. Either just got it like this year or just got it like late last year. So I reached out and I'm like, hey, like, just out of curiosity, for what you guys been doing, because they had a couple of mega bags the last two tournaments.
Was this up? That was like, they had multiple sevens?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yep.
No. Those different guys. These guys had multiple sixes, like back-to-back tournaments. They had like a 6 and a 5, and then another tournament they had a 6 and a 5.
Okay. And
then like a bunch of 3s to go with it. In back-to-back tournaments. So I asked, like, I'm curious, can you attribute any of that just to Active Target or Live Scope? Take your pick, the forward-facing sonar. Or is it something else? Just because like I'm curious as to, if like you could pinpoint like why all of a sudden the consistent uptick. Wow, my mouth. Come on, the consistent uptick in the overall quality of these big bass. And he's like, actually, I didn't have the active target set up for it yet. I'm out here fishing the St. Lawrence now, and I'm just using it, getting it dialed in. But with the water being so high, the vegetation is the best I've seen in the last 10 years. And I think that's why. Makes perfect sense. Especially in the summer, like deeper vegetation has always been key for me for my best largemouth fishing. So the fact that water's up and the vegetation, in his opinion, is the best it's been in the last 10 years makes sense. The fish are always there, but now they have more of what they like to be in, to be, I don't know, just more active in? I don't know how you want to put that. But
there's more ambush points.
Yeah. And more hiding spots for the bait fish to jump into. That's the big thing. That's the other thing that sucks. Like, again, this is all expanding upon mass big baits here. It was a point where it was a honey hole, it was good. They started treating it sucks now. You remove cover, you have nowhere for the bait fish to hide. And if you have nowhere for the bait fish to really hide, you have nowhere for them to continue to just do their thing and grow in numbers and stuff because they're just getting gobbled up. Lake Havasu, Arizona was a great example of that. They built that place. The bass just couldn't take off. They're all stunted. They were like, they couldn't figure it out. And someone, whether they asked another biologist in a different state or what, I don't know the history, but eventually it came to like, you have zero cover for bait fish to hide. So you have no numbers of bait fish and you have no size of bait fish. And so the bass size directly correlates to that. So they started dumping in tons of man-made structure. They're making these crazy steel baskets. So, it's like all mesh. So there's tons of surface area for the algae to grow on and adhere to. But then plenty of spots, every single hole a bait fish could get through. They had plenty of the stuff on the algae to feed off of. Their numbers exploded. Their size exploded. They were working with local builders and landscapers anytime they were cutting down palm trees out there.
Brush or anything.
Yep.
Just toss it in.
They're bundling it up, creating piles out there. That place blew up. Friggin' the desert of Arizona, and they've like got tons and tons of 4-pound smallmouth.
Yeah.
Friggin' desert in
but
Southwest.
Now it's 50 feet down.
Yeah, that's bad
if not
out
more.
there. But that's just kind of elaborating there on like the impact on the quality of a fishery when your structure goes away, and especially if your only structure is vegetation, you start treating it. That makes a huge difference.
Yep.
Which is funny because like the place we were just at the other night. David, have a good night, buddy. Thank you very much for hanging out with us tonight. We greatly appreciate it.
Later, dude.
That small pond that we just went to the other day for a few hours.
Yeah.
That's gotten better because the vegetation growth has been explosive the last few years. Because they were stupid and they went and mechanically tried to treat the place.
Yeah.
Which is nothing but just disperse milfoil seeds everywhere.
That place was the clearest I have ever seen that place. No, really any pond around here.
Yeah.
Ever. I mean, it's back to somewhat normal now, but.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like a lot of the other ponds in that area. Like anytime you get rain, it I don't know if it's just stirring stuff up or what, but it's just a reaction of the rain doing something that I don't know about, but whatever reason, like right after the rain, the whole pond just loses like half the clarity.
Right.
But like 2 or 3 days after, it's gin clear. And it was never like that.
No, never. Like it was like clear, like crystal clear. Can't even say it was clear.
The vast majority of that lake, when we weren't in the wind-blown section, like everywhere else, we could see bottom down like 6 feet in there.
Yeah.
Which for that place is good because it used to only be like 2 to 3 feet.
Well, maybe like 8 feet, right at that rock pile at the point there.
Yeah, you're right.
Like 8.5, almost 10 feet, 9 feet.
And we can still see bottom
like clear as day.
Yep.
And that doesn't happen there.
No, it used to be like half that clarity.
Yeah.
Or worse.
You could barely see the rocks.
Yep.
Come in there just under the surface.
And then they went through and tried to treat all the milfoil, and then what happened? They just dispersed all the seeds everywhere because it looks like one of those like old steamships, right? You got like the paddles that come through, and it's supposed to like pick them up or scoop them up. It agitates them, man. It just like blows them apart. Like it still picks everything up, but it doesn't pick up all the millions of seeds that they blew out, and they just get dispersed across the whole friggin' lake. And It went from an area of what, 300 to 400 feet by like
We're out by
200-ish
the,
feet to now, like, out of the 80 acres, probably 30 of it's covered in milfoil.
if not more. I think the whole middle is 100%. I think the entire middle is.
Yeah, you're probably right. Dude. It's probably going to be at least 2/3 of the lake now. It's got like significant milfoil,
if not more.
Yep. Versus it used to be like maybe 10%.
Because the north end doesn't have. No, it does, but
it does, but it's out a little bit deeper.
Yeah,
it hasn't moved quite up into the shallows yet, which I'm not sure what will happen if it does up there, because that's already like really soft bottom, so it might just choke everything out. I don't know.
I don't either.
Holy crap! We have a donation.
Do we really?
From none other than my best friend's mom, Carla.
Mom, thank you.
$50.
Hey,
Carla, thank you very much. You're the best.
cool. Thanks, Mom. She's a saint.
She is a saint. I'm not saying I'm like
just kidding.
I'm moved, dude. Like, that's huge. That's awesome. Like, your mom's the best. Like,
Right?
I mean, she's always been an awesome woman anyway, very supportive. But like, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, all of a sudden, we get a huge donation from your mom.
Yeah,
Like,
that's crazy.
That's awesome.
Mom.
Thank you very much, Carla.
I love you. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, the whole vegetation thing, it's crazy. Sir Altitude said, Sean, does the ghost chop through milfoil like Tyson against rookies? Yeah, actually, dude, that weedless version of their prop, like, it does really good. It's stout. It's probably like 70-ish% the size of the Ultrex prop, but it's like twice as thick. It's got like no flex to it whatsoever, and that thing cuts through it pretty good. But, you know, like anything, you know, there's a limit to it. I had the Ninja blade, the Ninja grass blade on my Ultrex. Loved it. You can double up on it if you want, but in more cases than not, just one is fine. I had a couple of trips actually when we were out at that spot that we were just talking about with all the vegetation.
Mm-hmm.
I was a couple of times we were going through the milfoil. I had to pick it up and clear it all out, and especially like the thin lily pad stems, those can kind of get wrapped up in that prop a little bit. So actually, it's right there, right beside the frog, that little plastic package. Speaking of Mr. Steve Estes at Bass Fishing Electronics, I just bought that from him. So it's another Ninja grass cutting blade, which was invented by a guy from New Hampshire, by the way. He just sold the company like last year. So I got one for my Ghost. So I'll be putting that on probably Saturday when I have time, or Sunday. I'll figure it out. It doesn't need that much. It's actually really easy to go on. Little cleaner, little sanding, cleaning, little 3M tape on the back of the blade, just a little chunk of aluminum. Easy peasy. That thing, dude, like, if you guys don't have that for your trolling motor, I don't care what kind of trolling motor you have. If you fish in a lot of vegetation, get this. Worth its weight in gold, and they're cheap. I think it was like $30, $35 for a decent little chunk of aluminum. Highly recommend.
I put mine on 100 and fucking. I just do this.
Yeah, man, that's it. Chat's kind of died off here, so it's already 10:15. We had a really long show last week, so we'll cut this one short. Shorter. It's already been 2 hours and 15 minutes. So, thank you all for watching. I want to hear it. For those that are still here, go back into the video after it goes live from this point, because anything in the chat doesn't show up when I hit end stream, and now it's up on the channel as its own video. Then you can comment there. I want to see comments for more just general topics you guys want us to see cover. Otherwise, I kind of have some ideas for just trying to keep the show going without having to pick specific broad topics. But we do have the electronics show coming up with Steve again at Bass Fishing Electronics.
When are we doing that?
Either next weekend or the weekend after. I need to set up the call audio if I can.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, it is for next Thursday. I can make it work. We're just going to plan it next Thursday. We're going to do the electronics thing.
This Thursday. A
week from today. The next show. Electronics. So, if you have anybody that's interested in knowing about that stuff and they're going to have a lot of questions, bring them. Because we're going to let Steve really kind of take over on the show. We're going to grill him. I'm going to make sure we have set up some general information, overall pros and cons between Lowrance, Humminbird, Garmin, because they got Panoptics. Like they're, I would argue, potentially still top dog in the live sonar.
I think so.
But active target is like, they're like 1A and 1B. And now Humminbird has their Mega Live, but initial results from that, yeah, I'm not so sure. It's not like head and shoulders better like I thought it was going to be. It actually still might be a little bit behind. How to live in symbiosis with loons. See, their favorite snack is lead.
Yeah, you throw. Oh my god, they gobble them up.
They do. It's great because it's kind of like a rock. It helps their digestion. So you go ahead and throw all your lead jigs in there, guys. It'll take care. It'll
definitely take care of something.
We're gonna get in trouble for joking around. T Foles, guy fishing off his dock a couple weeks ago told me they used to catch 7+ often, but now it sucks. When I looked closer, he was holding his spinning rod upside down and reeling back.
I believe it.
Yeah, dude. Most of those guys, like the dock talk guys that say crap like that, are the same guy. Like, oh yeah, dude. Like, well, oh my god. Well, I had a drunk talking to me when I was out night fishing a couple weeks ago when I had the online tournament.
Oh yeah.
You had the services and stuff. And I went to load the boat, and all of a sudden I heard this drunk guy come down to the boat launch. And hey, how's the fishing? Yeah, it's not great. I'm actually packing up. Buddy, I know it's you. I'm sorry? And like at this point I couldn't tell, like, does he know me from the channel? Or like, does he think I'm somebody else? He's like, no, you parked like a dickhead, you blocked in these two, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so it was a case of mistaken identity. I'm like, no, sir, I can assure you it's not me. And he's like, oh, long pause. I can see him looking at my truck. Oh, dude, I'm so sorry. That's not you. I'm so sorry. Well, dude, this place is great, man. I got friends that come out here all the time, and they catch 8 to 12 pound bass. You know there's 5 species of bass in here? That's your typical dock talk kind of guy.
We should have him on the show. I want to hear this.
Did you know there's largemouth, there's smallmouth, there's medium mouth, there's extra big mouth. He was a very good spirit. Dude, that guy was hammered. He was off his tits.
Sick.
But he was a happy drunk. But he was funny. 8 to 12 pounders. I was like, yeah, no.
I partially believe that.
Well, yeah, the first part of it. But oh my god. Like it, yeah. Any of those guys are just like randomly like I feel like anybody that's willingly like just throws that out at you for information is either just trying to be completely like bullshitting you, or is like that I really don't know how big a bass is, but I want to talk talk shop like I know shit.
So
but
drunk.
I want to make it sound really good, so let's embellish.
So drunk.
Yeah. Kevin, I had a guy in the lake tell me there was a big bass always by his dock, but I was going to need a bigger rod to catch the bass. Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. He's probably another guy that fishes with a spinning reel upside down.
That's the worst sight in the world.
It really is. That's one of my favorite memes, though. Like a pregnant mom holding a cigarette. She's like, "This won't hurt my baby one bit." And there's like 20 years later, it's the guy fishing, spinning reel upside down. It's great.
Crack wakes a baby up when I do. Jesus. All right.
Terrible. On that note, we're done. So for everybody that watched, thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it. If you're still here and you haven't hit like on the stream, please do so. It literally takes you just 1 second, and it helps way more than you. I promise you. Like, it is hugely helpful. If you didn't share the stream, maybe think about doing that tomorrow. That would be even better. Otherwise, thank you all for watching. Carla, thank you again very much for the donation.
Thanks,
that
Mom.
was amazing. For everybody else, I think that now puts us at about $250 towards our $1,000 goal of getting that new camera for the stream. So we're looking pretty good and well on our way. And Doug, you just got here at the wrong time, buddy. We're calling quits. Sorry, but thank you for watching. Otherwise, again, thank you all guys. Thank you everybody that keeps showing up here every single week, supporting what we do. And we'll be back next week, ideally, as long as nothing goes amiss, with Steve to talk electronics. So if you know anybody that could benefit from that, and it's probably going to be a long stream, let them know. It's going to be good. Otherwise, time for you to sign off, buddy. I'm going to go kill it.
Okay, good night. See ya. Just kidding. Next week. See you next week. At oh my god, dude, I'm so tired. I can't even talk. we'll see you next week. Same time, same place.